Yeah. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Happy Saturday. I think it's Saturday, right? All the days feel the same sometimes. And we're also going to be live on Facebook too. So, Facebook friends, let us know. Good morning, guys. Everyone's grouchy this morning. I got no good mornings in the chat. I usually get a couple. You know, what is going on? Did everyone not have their coffee yet, or what's going on, guys? Oh, I got a Harry Diamond, or you guys out there trying to make your Bloody Mary? Put that last olive in. I got you. What's up, Michael? Good morning. Happy birthday, Harry. The big birthday boy. Good morning, guys. Yeah, now everyone's got. All right, now I feel a little bit of love. I mean, I've been talking some great things about you, and you guys are gonna make me look really bad in front of Damon. I said, oh yeah, our group is really friendly. Nothing. I got nothing. Hey, Catherine. Good morning. Maybe next time I got to have some music playing or something. Maybe that's the issue.
If only you could hit the caffeine injection button, right?
Exactly. Well, I already had like my 2 cups of coffee already, so I'm like the caffeine guy, to say the least. How we guys doing today? And David, I'll let you could share your screen at any time you want. So you got the controls. I'm just kind of hanging out. How many people were here? I don't want to say, well, it wasn't this Wednesday. It was the Wednesday before with Kevin. Give me a thumbs up if you actually were, yeah, Karen, or you can raise your hand too, either way. I want to see how many people actually were on. Yep, we got a couple people. Esther, Harry, Nanette, Henry. Yep, I got a few people here. So we'll probably give another couple more minutes and then we'll get kind of started. As you guys mentioned, most of you guys know, we are using REI Black Book ourselves, and we're very excited. It's actually transformed our business. I'm not sure how we weren't doing this before. Now that Damon has actually kind of spoiled us, making my life easier. So I'm able to do more things that I want to concentrate on too. So I think it's pretty exciting. Good morning, guys. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see how many people actually signed up on Wednesday and actually played around with the system a little bit. Raise your hand or put it in the chat. We could do both. I'm just kind of curious to see. Yep, so a few of you guys, okay. Karen, I know you signed up, but you did not play with the system. 10 days, come on. You don't want to put this off, guys. I know if you guys are like me, anytime there's new software or anything, it's like, ugh, like it's like such a challenge for me. But then, it's kind of like the gym, like you work out and you feel better afterwards. So it's just one of those things that, once you get used to it, you're just wondering how in the heck did you live without it? So I'll give it another, maybe a minute or so, and then we'll get started. I see a lot of familiar names. Put in a chat if this is your first webinar. Just kind of curious with us. And actually what I'll do is I'll just kind of see where you actually found us too. So throughout the event, I will put up a couple polls. So it just gives us a good idea, gives Damon a good idea of your experience level, what you guys are up to. So it just kind of helps us out too. So, well, okay, it is 10:06. Usually in South Florida, people are always running a little late, but we're not going to penalize the people that are on time. part of the job is to show up. If you know, in your life, right? Rule number one, show up.
Step one.
So you guys are way ahead of the game by showing up. So I think that's always important. My name's Anish. I know it seems like I know almost all of you guys already. I'm looking on this email list here or the attendee list, but in case you do not know, my name's Anish Dave. I am one of the owners of the Broward Real Estate Investors Association, one of the owners of the Miami-Dade Real Estate Investors Association, and Ryan Kuhlman is the other owner. He's actually taking a break today, so you're stuck with me. And you know, we've been doing real estate, or myself, I've been doing real estate in South Florida for almost 20 years. Mortgage background, realtor, and I've been really flipping houses for about 12 years. So we're always looking, I don't want to say easier ways, but whatever benefits our business. And for us, one of our star students, Taryn Ward, actually has been using, I want to say she's been using REI Black Book for 4 or 5 years. So what I am going to say, right? So she told me about it 4 or 5 years ago, and I moved way too slow, right? So hard-headed. And, you know, if there was a benefit about COVID, it really got me to think. And I realized I had to really change my business. And I had a lot of time. And during COVID, I really started dialing into REI Black Book, and it's literally changed our business landscape here at Brea. So it's been phenomenal. And I'm also, you know, learning also. So even though we're using it, we're kind of just touching on it. And every time, you know, even Kevin a couple of weeks ago, or some of the other webinars I watched you guys, I'm like, really, it does that? Okay. So we're just constantly adding things on. And what I'm realizing is that we're just a lot more efficient. And now we have things that we could track also. And today, I know you're tired of hearing from me. The more, you know, who we have is Damon. Damon is the founder of REI Black Book, and I'm going to turn it over to him because he knows his story better than I do. So it's all yours, Damon.
All right. Well, hey, first and foremost, you know, it's not what if, it's what now, right? So we could always ask ourselves, hey, what if I started 5 years ago? What if I started, you know, so you know, don't ask yourself what if, it's what now. I hope to really show you guys some value information this morning. We're going to dive in. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to recap, you know, what REI Black Book is, so that everybody knows. So if you did not see Kevin's talk, you'll understand what is in the system. But then, sincerely, what we want to do this morning, this is going to be a hands-on, let's go build this stuff. I know a lot of you just signed up literally within the last week to 2 weeks. And so most folks always really want to know, hey, what should we do? What should we do next, right? And so I'm going to answer that question this morning, and I'm going to just get in and show you guys exactly how it works, and we'll go from there. All right. So just a little bit about myself, right? We'll kind of talk a little bit about that, not to bore you guys too much, but a little bit, you know, I was actually born and raised in Texas. Quite frankly, that's not important, right? But I just want you guys to know that I love Texas, right? So if I get a little Texas twang going on or anything like that, just recognize, yeah, I was born with it, okay? I grew up on welfare, guys, straight up. Grew up on welfare. My father was really in and out of prison my entire life. And, you know, I share that because that really does shape who you are. You don't have to be your father, so to speak, but at the same time, I did not recognize, you know, I was in denial for a long time of how much influence and direct impact that had even on my later years, right? At the end of the day, though, I've really kind of grown to forgive my father, if you will, so to speak. But hey, joined the Marine Corps at age 17. That was my escape from a sleepy little town in West Texas. Population, well, let me tell you this, it was so small that I was the only boy in my grade school class, you know, from like 3rd to 6th grade. Okay, so I joined the Marine Corps. Really thought that was my escape, you know, from farming, ranching, or oil field. That was really what I felt like were my options in that little town. Joined the Marine Corps, in the military. Very fortunate. You know, got promoted very quickly. Ended up working directly on the commanding general. What we call the command deck. Worked on the command deck directly for the CG, and got introduced to a lot of folks that was very influential in my life. One of them was 3rd generation Pepsi bottler, right? So his grandfather had started bottling Pepsi, way back in the 40s or 50s, and he was in line to take it over. He was my captain, so he was my direct OIC, and I was going to be a lifer in the military, guys. I was going to retire out of the military, but he convinced me not to reenlist because he was going to go back to Marion, Illinois, and start running the Pepsi bottler. His father was looking to retire, and he was going to take over. And he was looking to build his executive team. So I kind of got tapped on the shoulder very early, very young age, 22 years old, no college degree, and was the director of information technology for a $300-400 million bottling plant. That was my MBA program, to be very, very candid. I remember the very first time I went to a board meeting and they're starting to talk about P&L. And afterwards I had to go ask my buddy, I was like, what the heck is a P&L, right? I don't even know what a P&L is. I don't think that I should be, I don't think I'm deserving to be sitting at this table, right? And I think, quite frankly, a lot of us may feel that way, even in the real estate investing business. We're going to hear terms and terminologies. Maybe you're just getting started, whatever. And I just got to tell you, step one is, Anish already said it, is just show up. So congratulations, you're here. But step two is just lean into it even harder, right? So you got the one amazing thing about real estate investing, and I've been in a couple of different industries. What I love about real estate investing in this whole industry is the support, right? So the guy that you could be competing against is going to help you. It's, the fact that you guys have a REIA club, right? A whole network of real estate investors to support and lean onto is just absolutely amazing. I left Pepsi. By the time I was about 25, it was a really small town. Marion, Illinois wasn't much of a nightlife for a young 20-year-old kid, and in fact, Applebee's was the nightlife there in Marion, Illinois. It's since got a few more things and everything else we pass through every now and then, but I actually joined a tech company. It was a startup tech company right here in St. Louis. So I am in St. Louis, Missouri today, and joined a tech company. I was running their engineering department and was a millionaire on paper at age 25. And that was about 1999. Well, actually, I moved up here in the year 2000. So I've been here in St. Louis for 20 years. Was a millionaire on paper at age 25, right? But you know what that gets you? Not a daggum thing, right? Because unfortunately, whenever that whole stock market bust, right, that whole .com bubble bust, I was absolutely broke. And I literally was, broke in every way. Financially broke, spiritually broke, physically broke. I mean, I was just in a really bad spot at the age of 25. I was making, good six figures. And all of a sudden, I'm on this fast track of the .com bubble, if you will, thought it was. And then once it burst, was financially broke. I'd lost my mother. My mother had passed away. I was very close to my mom. Was kind of broken in every single way. And ended up being the 7-Eleven clerk. All right. Ended up being the 7-Eleven clerk. I was 27 years old, went from making six figures to, I think I started off at $7 an hour. But here's the thing though, you show up and guess what happens? Good things happen. I got promoted to management really quick, which, I think was $8 an hour. And all that really meant was they trusted me enough with the cooler, the keys to the cooler, so I could fill the beer fridge when the beer came in. That's really all that amounted to. But the irony of that whole 7-Eleven story, and this is actually Anish and I have a little bit of a connection here. There was actually a mortgage broker upstairs, right? So I was working at a 7-Eleven in this little strip center. It was a 2-story strip center, and the 7-Eleven was right on the corner, and above the 7-Eleven was a mortgage broker. Now, the reason that was important is because they used to come down all the time and like, hey, you know what? You should come up and work upstairs, come work in our telemarketing center. I was communicated with them every day and had pretty much knew everybody and was calling by first name, all the little things that we should be doing. But, make no mistake, I know I could have went and got a job and everything else. I was, technically was pretty savvy. Literally was a director of information technology. But whenever I lost my mom, the tech company went belly up. Just a lot of things happened in my life all at the same time, and just really fell into a depression. And 7-Eleven was my way out. I didn't have to think about my work, didn't have to think about the job, just went to work, but still was able to create some good connections with the people because I still love people. Well, that really led to, guys, and we'll go through this fairly quickly because I definitely want to get into the meat of REI Black Book for sure.
David, I just want to add that I was laughing when you were talking about the mortgage end of it. I'm going to laugh because I actually worked at 7-Eleven too. I was like, how did you know that I worked at 7-Eleven too?
Oh, no way, man.
The same thing.
Dude, like, Yeah, we're like
Is that on my bio somewhere?
there's this deeper connection somewhere, man. It's crazy. Well, for me, I got to tell you, man, I was working at 7-Eleven. The loan officers, processors, they're coming in, getting their big gulps and their Slurpees every day. They're literally half of them are eating, hot dogs down there, lunch. And so I got to know most of them on a first name basis. And they just kept saying, dude, you got to come upstairs. You got to come upstairs. And I was just kind of hesitant. Well, finally, they convinced me to go upstairs. And I remember the very first night. And so as a mortgage guy, this was probably 2001, 2001. Yeah. They were faxing in the rate sheets, right? So we were a mortgage broker. So every bank faxing in the rate sheets. And so now all of a sudden, the rate sheets, by the way, that's how all these loan officers, that's how they price the loan, right? You call in, say, this is what I'm looking for. They look at the loan, they look at the rate sheet. It says, here's the rate. And it basically then they kind of go over and says, hey, here's how much this bank will pay you, right? So it may be the same rate at different banks, the exact same rates, but then certain banks will pay more and everything else. So that's a rate sheet. And the very first night their server crashed. So the telemarketing center, they're getting leads, and they would normally hot transfer these leads over. Loan officer would pull up the rate sheet from the faxes coming in. And at that point, the server went down, and you got a bunch of loan officers who can't price loans. And so they tried to get a hold of their tech guy, everything else, couldn't get a hold of the guy. And I was like, hey, I could probably get the server back up, right? At that point in time, I had, plenty of years, 10 years of IT tech experience, managing departments, running servers, managing my own, all that stuff. And I can only imagine that they're like, sure, we're going to let the 7-Eleven guy, access our server. But, somehow, some way they trusted me, because eventually they couldn't get a hold of their guy. So I got the server back up, and within, got the server back up. And then at that point, they're like, okay, what's your story? Right. And I kind of gave them my story, and really went to being the mortgage broker tech guy. So I didn't have to answer phones long. But honestly, I was personally really in a dark place and was a mess. But within about 2 years, I was actually really kind of the GM of that brokerage. So the owner certainly recognized that he made more money whenever he was actually selling loans. And so he needed somebody to run the general operations, and he eventually tapped me on the shoulder to do that. Now, the reason I kind of tell you guys these, well, first and foremost, guys, I want you guys to know my background and understand where I come from, right? So that you really can first and foremost, I can relate to a lot of you guys, and I'll tell you guys why here in just a second, because trust me, I've been on the up, down. I've been on the roller coaster many times, professionally and personally. But what we started doing as in the mortgage shop, we really, the things that I was always really good at was technology. So I was a technology guy in the military. And then I really fell in love with marketing at Pepsi. I just found it absolutely amazing. The Pepsi job was my MBA, because I really got to go and literally sit in every department. We gutted all of the technology that was like 98 to 99. So the Y2K thing. So we were replacing all the technology, which was absolutely amazing. I don't think I could have gotten a better education, even if I would have went to college. But I really fell in love with the marketing and the technology. So I applied those same principles in the mortgage business. And while everybody else is out pitching rates, and by the way, look, it's all like every mortgage broker, we basically got access to the same money, right? So a rate is just a commodity. And if you're just trying to compete on the lowest rate, it really is just a race to the bottom. Okay. Now, how does that apply to real estate investors? Look, if the only thing you're doing is competing on price and how much you can pay, right? So a little bit of reverse. So now you're competing on how much you can pay for the price or for the property. Then look, I'm telling you right now, that too is a race to the bottom. So I knew that my strengths were marketing and technology. And so we said, all right, how can we go find a couple of different areas to specialize in, right? So to specialize in. So a couple of lessons there just in general business. First of all, don't be a commodity. What makes you unique? What makes you unique as a real estate investor? And I'll tell you right now, straight up, it's hardly ever actually about how much you can pay for the house, right? It really is trying to solve problems creatively and creating relationships and rapport. How is that going to separate you, right? And then what area are you going to focus on? We actually chose real estate investors and bankruptcy. So as a mortgage guy, we said, hey, look, we're going to focus on real estate investors. Most other loan officers and mortgage brokers did not want to focus on real estate investors because they're smaller loans. You do just as much work, sometimes more. You guys have complicated tax returns, all these self-employed stuff. I mean, it's a nightmare for most loan officers. But once we got that systematized and we could actually process a loan very quickly, we recognized like, oh, wow, real estate investors are going to do sometimes 2, 3, 4, 10 loans a year, whereas your average homeowner is only going to do something every 5 to 7 years, right? So most loan officers shied away from that because it was difficult and their commissions were low. But we recognized that it was really a volume game, and the only way to play that volume game was to have systems in place. And a lot of that system stuff that we put back in place back in the day is really the foundation of REI Black Book, right? So we focused heavily on real estate investors, and my son was born in 2011, September 2004. But here's the thing: we started doing email blast, and this seems like just a little simple little bullet point, and it is. But you got to remember, this is probably 2003, 2004, where we started doing just simple email blasts. Now, this is before Constant Contact, before MailChimp and SendGrid and all of these, email type services today. Now, why did we do that? Again, whenever we said, all right, we're going to focus on real estate investors because we can do a volume game, we can create systems. So now we had to figure out from a marketing perspective, how are we going to get those folks in the door? And it's no different than what you're doing in your real estate investing business, right? How are you going to separate yourself? Who are you going to focus on? And what we did is said, it's always a simple question. How can I provide the most value to my target audience, right? How can I provide the most value to our target audience? And we recognized early on that we would go to these REIA clubs and everything else, no different than what you guys are doing, which I commend all of you for doing that. That is absolutely one of the first things we tell everybody to do. You got to go join your local REIA clubs. When St. Louis, we had a handful of REIA clubs, and we just went to all the REIA clubs and we would collect the email addresses, and we basically built this email database so that when you had a property that you wanted to wholesale, you would just email it to us, and then we'd email it out to everybody else in the network. Sounds simple enough, and it really truly was. But it actually got pretty overwhelming where we were sending out 30, 40 properties, emails a day. And then people started saying, well, you already got the email list. Can you find a contractor? Can you find, so it really turned into this virtual networking amongst all of the clubs based upon the simple email list, right? But it became a lot of work, so we had to systematize it. And honestly, guys, that absolutely is where REI Black Book was born. I basically just one day said, what if we built a website where they could upload their own property, and then as investors, you could also subscribe and set your own criteria, so that when a property was posted and it matched your investing criteria, you would automatically get notified, or you could actually go search it and everything else. So that really was the first idea that we had, and that's really where REI Black Book, the concept of REI Black Book, was born all the way back in 2004. Okay, so we've been doing this for just a minute. All right, just a minute. All right, so that really, that was the first tool. And then we said, okay, how can we help them do more deals and do them faster? If you guys can do more deals and you do them faster, then that means you need more money, and you come back to us. And so we started doing websites. We started doing simple contact management, all these things way back, again, 2000, this is from 2004, 5, 6, 7. We just started providing all these little bitty tools, and we absolutely gave them away. All right, so we gave them away to all the folks in our local market right here in St. Louis. And the concept was like, this is the best way to get our name out there. And there was this law of reciprocity was really what we were leveraging. It's because I'm going to give you something of value, and then you are going to feel obligated to reciprocate, right? So you're going to feel obligated to reciprocate. It's really basic human psychology, okay? So if I gave you $1 today, you're going to feel obligated. Just if I walked up and just, hey, here's $1, you're then going to feel obligated to do something of value back. Okay. It's really basic human psychology, but that was what we were doing. Started providing all of these tools, and it was a really simple concept. And next thing you know, we're doing 100+ loans a month. We started being recognized nationally, mortgage originator magazine, recognizing our product, all kinds of stuff. We started getting some publicity. Life was awesome. Things are good. Next thing you know, my daughter's born. My daughter McKenna was born in December of 2007. Life is awesome. I'm rocking. I'm on top again. And then, well, you know, does anybody remember 2008? I bet Anish does, right? 2008, the mortgage, what we affectionately call the mortgage market meltdown. So we were giving away all of these tools, doing 100+ loans a month, and all of a sudden it dries up overnight. All of the banks are closing. And what the banks did is that, of course, they stopped doing what they felt were the riskier loans. And the two areas of focus for us was real estate investors, so non-owner occupied loans, right? And then bankruptcy. Folks that were in bankruptcy could get really good 30-year fixed FHA financing. So that was one of our niches as well. Well, both of those were classified a little bit higher risk. And so most of the banks pulled the reins back really hard, really fast. And we went from doing, you know, 100+ loans a month. I'm 6 figures again. Life is awesome. I've got, you know, I'm married. I've got a wife. I've got a son. I've got a daughter. You know, I just didn't have the white picket fence, right? But, you know, I had everything else, right? And life was rocking until 2008. And we went again from doing 100 loans to about 10 loans a month. And at that point, guys, I'll tell you, I was facing foreclosure. I was behind on my mortgage payments. I forced into bankruptcy. I was absolutely broke again in all of the same ways, you know, in that .com bubble burst. Now I'm sitting here looking at this. I'm like, man, do I have like the kiss of death for industries, right? So I'm in this tech bubble and it completely burst. The whole industry burst, not just the company, the industry. And then all of a sudden I switch over and I'm in the mortgage business. The whole industry collapses. So Nish, I'm sure you could probably relate to 2008, just a little bit of pain, right?
Absolutely. I feel like, you know, I think we lived the same life. I wish I knew. I definitely needed a friend back then. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
no kidding,
I mean,
right?
it was,
Well, I
I mean,
tell
it
you,
was, I
Scott,
mean,
go ahead.
no, I was just joking because like, it's so funny when you're in it. Like it's so bleak. Like you just feel like there's no way to get out of it. And I always kind of joke about it is if there's a way I could have told my old self, right? Hey, everything will work out. But I mean, the depression and
Yep.
I don't know, you know, and I know some of, you know, our attendees have gone through it too. And it's not a rah-rah story about Damien or myself. I always just say, hey, if, you know, I won't call you an idiot, but I'll say if this idiot could do it, you know, then
Trust me.
anyone could do it, right? So, you know, it's just one of those things you got to just constantly, you know, being part of the conversation of learning and adapting, right? So even marketing in 2007, 8, any of these things, like, and when we were joking about, you know, faxing in the rate sheets, I totally remember that. I know we have some younger people here,
Like,
even in
what's a
our
fact?
office, they're kind of joking about it. They said, who even faxes anymore? I was like,
Right.
fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, old enough to remember though, right? So I tell you, and the reason I tell you guys this, and I go into the story, and look, my story is certainly not unique, right? It is not unique, but that's the point. It's not unique. I know some of you may have already been through this. I know some of you are there right now, and you're facing this. And so for me, was absolutely broke again. But you know, the hard part this time was I had a family to support. So we asked a simple question. We asked, hey, you know, what if instead of depending upon the mortgages, you know, and earning commission from the loans, what if we actually started charging a monthly subscription fee for this software? So this was before, you know, SaaS, they call it today, software as a service. This was really before all of that was popular. Didn't really know even if it was going to work. And that was the question we asked ourselves. And what if, and that really was when REI Blackbook was born. We had that big email list of all the investors in town and everything else. And we sent out an email and we basically offered free pizza and beer. And I'll tell you, free pizza and beer got some butts in the seats in 2009, right? So it was October 1st, 2009. We did a launch. We basically raised private money. So it was a really unique way to raise private money. We pre-sold the software. We pre-sold the software before it was really even polished. We had a couple of bits and pieces, but I started meeting with investors every Thursday in my office. I was attending all of the REIA Club meetings. I was meeting some of the national speakers and trainers. I was really kind of just diving into this whole real estate investing industry. And was just asking really, simple questions of like, what are your biggest challenges? And I was observing that, and we set out to solve those. So we got together, we said, all right, here's the vision of what I think that we can do with this software, but we're going to need some capital to build this thing. And we raised $50,000 the very first night, October 1st, 2009. We just said, hey, look, we're going to ask for a one-time payment of $1,000, and you're going to get whatever it is that we build in the future here. Here's what it looks like. And, 50 folks signed up, 24 months later, by that time we had the Rich Dad contract. We've had, lots of the education and coaching package. We were just included in tons of the big education companies and everything else. And let me be clear on this too, guys. I'm not encouraging, going out and signing up with these national education companies. I did that circuit for a long time. The absolute best coaching and mentoring you're ever going to get is right there at your REI club. Okay. The best coaching, the best mentoring you're ever going to get is right there in your REI club. And you know why? It's because Anish knows your market, right? He knows your market, not some guy, flying in from, Seattle is going to come down to Florida and show you guys everything, what to do in your local market. Okay. So lean into that, but for us, Rich Dad had amazing access to, crazy volume. It blew up, so next thing you know, we're the software of choice for lots of educators, influencers. I've sold over $30 million worth of software, just software, since filing bankruptcy back in 2000. I think it ended up having to file bankruptcy in 2008, 2009, forget the year. But really, guys, the crazy part for me has been the impact. We've got so many amazing success stories and testimonials, and we're far from done. Okay. We're far from done. So I share all of this for a couple of reasons. A, I want you guys to know who I am. I want you to understand a little bit of the foundation and where REI Black Book got started, but there really are some important lessons in here. Some from, not being a commodity to really focusing on how can you provide value to your target audience. Let's get really focused on a target audience. And then really probably the most important thing here is that you have to recognize is this path of entrepreneurship, this path of running your own business. It can be a lonely path, right? I remember whenever I was facing bankruptcy and foreclosure, all my friends and family are like, dude, why are you trying to start this software company? Why don't you just go get a job? Now, in fairness to myself, the job market wasn't that great back in 2009, 2010. So it was a little bit difficult, but honestly, it was like, man, I just had something in me that said, you know what? This is what I want to do, right? This is what I want to do. And I cannot stress, there's a little bullet point I kind of skipped over, and it's mirror, mirror on the wall. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that, but I'll tell you quickly, I watched a Tony Robbins video and he drew 4 little boxes, and basically it said, hey, why do people succeed? Why do people fail? Why do people succeed? Why do people fail? And really the core of the video was all about belief. You have to start with belief. Most people start with, potential. They think about the potential. That's going to determine how much action they take. If they take, determining how much action they take is going to determine how much results they get. That results then fuels your belief. So most people have to have the results in order to believe. But Tony said, hey, look, really the most successful folks I know, they have this innate ability to believe that it is possible. And they start with belief. And that really fuels your potential. Once you have undying belief, right? The burn the ships mentality, your potential is unlimited. You're going to take massive action. You're going to get massive results. And then that's going to fuel the belief. And it just keeps getting bigger, 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 right? So it really does start with belief. And I'll tell you, I went home, drew that out on a mirror in my bedroom wall with my wife. 1 a.m, had a brand new baby girl. Drew that out on the wall. And I'll tell you, we still have that mirror unwashed. We did not clean that mirror. I woke up every single day and looked at those 4 boxes. And it literally sits in my office now, my office, at REI Black Book. It sits in the office and reminds me every day that we still have to believe. Okay. So some of you may be in that position right now where your friends and family are like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? What's this little cult-like meetings you're going to on a monthly basis? What's that group of crazy people trying to convince you to do? Right. So I know some of you are in those positions and situations, and I just want you to recognize that my story is not unique. I mean, the crazy part is literally listening to Anish and 7-Eleven and the mortgage business. my story is not unique. Okay. And what I want you to recognize is your position isn't unique if you find yourself there right now. Okay. Lean in to this, to the folks in this group. Okay. Really lean in. All right. All right. So we're going to keep rocking though. So what I want to talk about really quick, this is kind of going to be a foundational principle that I want you to understand. And I want to be clear here. I promise you we're going to get into the software. I'm going to show you, we're going to actually hands-on build stuff, but there's some basic foundational stuff that I really want you to understand before we keep diving into it. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, these are what I call the 5 pillars of success. It's the 5 pillars of success for absolutely any business. Okay. So the first thing we have to do, if we've got a product or service that we're launching, then we need to be able to market, right? We've got to get the word out on what it is that makes us unique. What value are we providing? We've got to market to that target audience, right? So we have to market. Now, once we start marketing, inevitably, we're going to generate leads. And once we generate those leads, not everybody's going to be ready to do business with us today. So that means we're going to have to follow up, right? We're going to have to follow up and start really qualifying and trying to find who are the right leads that are ready to take action. Okay. And I've got a ton of training on the follow-up piece here, and we are going to talk a little bit about that today. Once we start following up though, or once we market, I want you guys to recognize this. Let's just say that I put out a marketing collateral, and it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if I'm cold calling. It doesn't matter if I'm door knocking. It doesn't matter if I'm texting, if I'm doing direct mail, if I'm doing, bandit signs. Am I doing Facebook ads, pay-per-click, driving for it does not matter. Okay. Does not matter. All of those things work, by the way, all of them. Right. So, and we're going to talk a little bit about some marketing strategies in just a bit, but if I put out any sort of marketing at some point, if I don't have any, if it's just me, one man band, or even if I've got a team, it doesn't matter. At some point, I'm going to have enough leads that call in that now I've got to start following up. And once I start following up, and let's say I got 100 people, and it doesn't matter if your number is 10, 100, or 1,000, there is a breaking point. There is a breaking point of what you can handle. So at some point, you get enough leads to call in, and let's just say it's 100 leads. I get 100 leads, and now I've got to start following up, because not all 100 leads are going to take action, right? In fact, statistically speaking, only 50% will do something in the next 2 years. Only 50% will do something in the next 2 years. That means engage in a transaction. So in our world, that means only 50% of those folks are actually going to sell their house in the next 2 years, right? Only 50%. So 100 people call in. I know 50 of them are going to do something in the next 2 years, but really only 2% of that. So really one is going to do something in the next 30 days, right? So statistically speaking, I've got 100 leads that come in. Only one of them is going to really probably engage and sell their house in the next 30 days. So most of us, what we're doing is we're sifting, sorting, trying to qualify, trying to filter down to find that one person. We want to find that needle in the haystack. But that's a lot of time, energy, and effort. So what do we stop doing when we're spending all of that time on follow-up? We stop marketing, right? I don't want to add more chaos, right? I don't want to dump more into this. I'm trying to find the one person, right? So let's say that we do, all right? In real estate, we all know that, hey, guess what? Whenever we get the contract signed, when we find that one person, the job's not over, right? We get them to sign the contract. That doesn't mean we instantly get paid. There's typically a lot of things, no matter what your exit strategy. I don't care if you're wholesaling. I don't care if you're landlord, you're buy and hold, you're rehabbing, you're doing creative strategies. I don't care what it is that you're doing. It's not just, hey, let's sign the contract and we're done. Now you've got to go manage the deal ultimately to get it to closing. But now all of a sudden we're totally focused on the deal. We're getting, title issues cleared, right? We're doing further inspections, all the stuff that goes along with actually closing this deal. So once we do that, what do we stop doing, right? The other 99 folks that we're following up with, guess what we stop doing? We stop following up, all right? So we start focusing on getting the deal done. Lo and behold, we do it right. We close the deal. We close the deal and we're like, hey, all right, sweet. Now you really feel like you're in business. And I want you guys to go back and I want you to think about that very first deal that you did, right? How excited were you, right? I just had one of our REI Black Book members just closed their first deal really about 3 weeks ago, and I was on a call with them, and it's $25,000, and just, look, I don't care if it's $25,000, $250,000, or $250, the excitement you get from that first deal, it feels like $1 million either way, right? And so you're ready to like, hey, let's do this again. Let's do this again. And you're ready to close, right? The problem is that process was probably a 30, 60, 90, 120 day process. So now we're 3, 4, 5 months into this thing. We get our first deal closed and we're like, all right, I'm ready to close the next deal. But what happened? We stopped everything. And so guess what that means? We got to go back to the beginning, right? And we got to start again, right? So we got to start our marketing. We got to start the follow-up, manage the deal. And unfortunately, the definition of insanity, right? We just keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But this is really the feast or famine business model, right? It is the roller coaster ride. And I'll tell you, this was true in my mortgage business. This was true in real estate investing. Okay. I see the same thing. It's like, look, we start marketing, we follow up, and we stop marketing. We stop following up. Once we get the deal, we start managing the deal to close. We stop following up. Okay. But the truth of it is, the only way that you're ever going to get paid consistently and repeatedly in this business is you must have the fifth pillar. Okay. So the fifth pillar really is those systems. Okay. Again, it's the only way you're going to get paid consistently and repeatedly. You have to have the stuff in place so that your marketing is running without you, right? The follow-up's happening without you. You guys are dedicated today working, and this is what I call on-time business, right? You're working on your business, not in your business. You're working on your business, and that's great, right? That's a great place to be. But when you're working on your business, something needs to still be working in your business. And that would typically be the systems, right? So what happens if you get a lead call right now? What happens if somebody goes to your website and fills out a web form and they want a cash offer? What if they text in right now? What happens if you're working on your business and you're on this call with me? Does that mean you're gonna have to stop and go take care of that lead because you don't have systems in your place running it? That's really what we're talking about here, okay? All right. Now I'm gonna share one more thing with really important principle that you guys understand, okay? So I want you guys to understand the 5 pillars of your business, right? Marketing, follow up, right? You got to manage the deal. So your operations, you got to close that deal. That's your getting paid. And then the systems. Okay. You got to understand that. Once you understand that, then I really want to drive home the marketing piece. Okay. I love marketing. I love tech, but look, marketing is probably, that's where my creative energy gets to flow, man. I absolutely love it. But I got to tell you, most people are doing marketing wrong. They're absolutely got the wrong focus. They're not measuring it. It's inconsistent, and they're using all of the wrong tools. Okay. It leads to a ton of confusion, perplexities. You know, it's just people are lost. They're unsure. They're unclear. All of those problems happen when you're doing marketing the wrong way. Okay. You really want to market the right way. It's a simple focus, consistent, simple tracking, and, you know, the right tools at the end of the day. There are 2 types of marketing though. This is crucial to understand. Okay. 2 types of marketing. When most folks mention marketing, most of the time we instantly start thinking expensive, how much money do I have to spend and everything else. And frankly, if that's what you think of when you think of marketing, you probably are most closely associated with brand marketing. Okay. So branding is really about, you know, creating that unique image or feeling in the mind of your customers and prospects. The other type of marketing is direct response marketing. That's where you want to elicit a specific and measurable response with a clear call to action. And I'm going to give you some examples of this so that it's really, really clear. Okay. So this here is pure brand marketing, right? This ad is, you know, it's LeBron James drinking a Sprite and it just says, you know, you want a Sprite. Okay. This ad is not asking you to do anything at all, right? The sole purpose of this ad is to associate, right? All it's going to do is simply associate LeBron James with the product, in this case, Sprite, right? Right. So with a famous person, it's just trying to associate that, make that association in your mind of Sprite and LeBron James. Okay. As a result of that, that is really what we call branding. And Coca-Cola Company, right? They expect to sell more Sprite as a result of this. Now, there's a ton of challenges with this type of ad. All right. First, well, I'll get into that in just a second. All right. Let's look at direct response. So direct response, this is the same type of product, right? Same type of product. In fact, same company. Okay, same product, same type of product, same company. But this one says, hey, buy one, get one free. And there's a very specific call to action, and in fact, even a time. So by 11/23, so by November 23rd, if you want to receive a buy one, get one free coupon, you must enter the code below, right? So enter a code below, and they're going to give you a coupon, okay? So this is a very, very clear call to action. And now what are the big differences here? What are the big differences? Now, first of all, in the branding example, that's a lot more expensive, okay? It's a lot more expensive. I mean, I can only imagine how expensive, how much money it would cost to get LeBron James to be the spokesperson, okay? The direct response example is much more measurable, right? I can't necessarily, if I put that billboard and it just says one a Sprite and I've got LeBron James, it's going to be very hard to measure how successful was that campaign. Now, overall, we can, of course, measure it to some degree, but like we're talking hand grenade measurements. We're basically saying, look, we put that ads out there. Did we sell more Sprite overall or not, right? So we could probably do that and answer that to some degree, but typically we've got lots of different marketing strategies going on. So then it's going to call into question, okay, well, what if I also ran an ad with Michael Jordan, right? If I ran a Sprite ad with Michael Jordan and I ran an ad with LeBron James, how do I know which one really worked, right? And who is the greatest of all time anyways, right? We'll save that debate for another day, but I mean, it is Michael Jordan, okay, just so everybody knows. But, right, so that's really the challenge whenever we start doing that brand type of marketing, okay? But most of us associate, when we start talking marketing, most of us are associating that really expensive brand type marketing. The direct response ad, I can measure it. I can see how many people actually entered in the coupon, right? I can also see how many people redeemed the coupon, right? So I absolutely can measure it, and it's very, very clear. So, and it also has a deadline, right? So now I can measure the entire campaign. So this thing is going to be out there, and they've got to do this by November 23rd. I've got a very specific time. It's a very specific call to action. There's actually a couple of different steps, and I can literally see how many people entered in the coupon, how many people actually redeemed the coupon. So I can see, okay, maybe there's a break off. Maybe there's not enough people that actually entered in the coupon. Maybe, all kinds of things, right? So that really is a very fundamental piece, okay? And so most of you guys are like, okay, well, where should we be spending my time as a real estate investor? Look, I'm going to tell you right now, it is 95% of your time should be spent. All right. All of your time, energy, and efforts, your money should be spent on direct response marketing. Okay. Less than 5% really worrying about your brand. Okay. Less than 5% worrying about your brand. Now, do you need a great website? Sure you do, okay? With a few clicks inside of REI Blackbook, we're actually gonna do that today. We're gonna build out a website, show you how easy it is. You can have a beautiful website. Do you need a fancy logo? Maybe, okay, maybe. We can actually kind of talk a little bit about some of the largest companies in the world. We're not super worried about their brand in the early days, and you can see that the brands evolve over time, right? So we got Starbucks way back in 1971. All the way to their current logo. Now you can see some very, some things that have trended and continued, right? So they haven't entirely lost their identity, but it's okay to change that logo over time, right? So you don't have to go get your perfect logo today. Just go get a logo. In fact, hey, it could be just plain text of your name. Right. So, Anish buys houses. Okay, fine. Right. Whatever it is. Okay. Just in text. Don't get this overcomplicated. All right. Now, the last thing is you have to be consistent with your marketing. Okay. Look, you have to have a system in place, especially if you guys have, a job, you're working full time or whatever. It's the only way to be consistent is you got to put this stuff on autopilot. All right. Okay. And then, last but not least, you got to measure the marketing. Now, I'm going to go through really quick because, like I said, today's training is really all about diving in and actually building out REI Blackbook for you guys and showing you how to set up your websites, how to set up your systems, how to set up all your tracking, your marketing. And we do a lot more than that too. We help you on the disposition side, all kinds of stuff here. All right. So let me kind of get to one of the slides here that I want to chat about. Okay. I should have hid these slides. I apologize. I didn't realize I didn't hide these. But just know that all of this, I have training for all of the follow-up, a couple of different unique marketing strategies. All of that is available inside of REI Blackbook, this exact presentation, okay? So really kind of what we typically talk about. Look, once you get, you've got your business set up and everything else, you start marketing, leads are coming in, right? But you got this leaky bucket because you don't have systems in place, right? So all of a sudden, all these leads start falling out of the bucket, okay? Really, REI Black Book, we built REI Black Book to solve this problem, all right? We built REI Black Book to solve this problem. And I'm going to, where is my, all right, there we go. Okay, so really at the end of the day, what I want to kind of do here is talk briefly about and kind of recap some of the stuff Kevin talked to you guys about on Wednesday. And so I know some of you weren't on that call, so that's why I want to recap this really quick. So, opening presentation, part of this presentation, my background. Hey, look, my story is not unique. You may be there. Recognize that you've got an entire group to support and really hold you accountable. Understand the 5 pillars. Understand the 5 pillars of marketing, building any business, so that you have to have systems in place to get paid consistently and repeatedly, right? And then understanding there's 2 types of marketing, branding or direct response. And most of your time should really be spent in direct response, okay? Direct response. I'm not saying branding's not important. You'll get there later on though, okay? Branding is really, really expensive. So whenever we start talking about systems, software and REI Black Book is just one part of that system. It is not, hey, REI Black Book is the entire system. Although we do a lot of stuff, really a system consists of what are the processes, right? Do you have the processes, the people, and the tools and the software? You put all of those together and that creates the overall system, right? So it really is about processes, people, and tools, okay? Processes, people, and tools. That's what really consists or creates a system. So REI Black Book is a part of your systems, right? You still gotta have the processes and the people. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the tools of exactly what is included inside of REI Black Book. So first and foremost, we do have lead capture websites, all right? These are gonna, they're really designed to turn your site visitors into prospects, right? Proven website templates. We're literally going to build out a website today. This is not difficult. We got tons of different templates, and we're going to show you exactly what to do here. Now, I've got a few testimonials. I'm going to go through these really quick, but I just want to kind of point these out, a couple things, okay? I'm going to point out these 3 testimonials, and we're going to skip the rest, okay? But what I love about these testimonials here is this is Gail. Gail's sitting there. She's like, hey, we've been around for about 5 years, and anyone knows me knows that I don't waste time or money, right? So she's been with us over 5 years. Drew and Risha here, they've been with us almost a decade now, okay? Almost a decade. They built their business on REI Black Book. Mike and Dave Dodge here in St. Louis, it says, hey, our first bill from REI Black Book was 2014. They've helped us make a lot of money. Now, why do I bring those up? Because look, here's the deal, guys. I can promise you none of those customers are going to be with us for more than 3 months, more than 6 months, if this stuff doesn't work, if they didn't have a business system that produced results, and more importantly, produced a return on that investment, okay? So what all is included though, right? So let's keep on going. We've got the websites. We've got contact management. If you've not used a CRM in the past, look, what a CRM is going to replace all the sticky notes, all of the loose pieces of paper that you're scratching notes on, right? Call comes in, you scratch down notes, and then they call back and you're trying to go find all the notes, everything else. Look, a CRM, a contact relationship management system, that is really going to put all of those notes, all of those things into one spot, one location, right? All your notes, history, email history, calls, all of that stuff is really integrated right into the system, okay? All right, I told you we're going to skip some of those testimonials really fast because I just want to get into recap. What does REI Black Book do? And then we're going to get in and show you guys, okay? So we got websites. We got contact management system, okay? So we got a website to help you capture the leads. We got a contact management to store those leads. And then we have automated workflows, okay? So automated workflows are really going to help you follow up, right? It's going to turn those dead leads into deals, okay? Turn those dead leads into deals. The old cliche here, and I know it's terrible, but no lead left behind, right? But it really is true, right? You need to be able to have systems in place so that if a lead comes to your website, we're going to capture the contact, and now we're going to trigger the exact same process to be followed every single time, right? We're going to assign a task, maybe send them a text reply back, maybe then we wait a week, and then we send them a ringless voicemail. We wait another week, and then we send them a text reply, then we send them an email. But literally the exact same thing happens every single time. So whenever we start talking about consistency, this is what we mean. Okay. So that every lead that you put into the system, you know that you put them into the system, the exact process is going to be followed. So you can start predicting the results, right? So we've got websites, we've got contact management, and then we've got automated workflows. Okay. I will show you this one because this is awesome. So this is Marcy Martinez. She's actually got her system set up, right? So it's completely customizable. We have workflows and things like that. We have templates in the system, but you can customize them. She's built it so that anytime somebody's ready for an offer, so they may have went to her website, right? Went to her website, the contact was captured, the workflow's triggered, and she's got it set up. So if they text her back and just say ready, that means they want a cash offer. And I'm showing you this because just the other day, she posted this about 3 weeks ago. You can see here at 4:04, she got a lead in that said ready for a cash offer. 4:07, so 3 minutes later, she got another lead that was ready. And then 4:22, she got another lead that said ready. So all within about 18 minutes with the system doing all of the work, right? Lead comes into the website, right? Lead comes into the website, it's captured in the system. We're going to start triggering the automated workflow. And then really the important part of this, guys, is we don't want you to get caught up in having to, in the example earlier, we talked about those 100 people and you got to figure out how to follow up and you're trying to figure out the one. What if the one just texted you back and said, hey, I'm the one, right? That's really what we want. Okay. So that, and you know that that's happening every single time. And now once you got a system in place, you can handle lots more volume and you can focus on the high dollar producing activities, okay, in your business, right? Making offers and things of that nature. Cami uses this for her Airbnb business, right? It helps, says, hey, it bought my life back, right? Because it helps with all the guest management and things of that nature. Okay. All right, the next piece of this, and I want to be clear, guys, whenever I was back in the mortgage business and I was kind of trying to put all this stuff together, remember what I was doing is I was basically meeting with real estate investors. What I was doing, I was buying them pizza and beer every Thursday night, every 2 weeks. I had about 15 investors. They would come in and they would basically spill out all their problems. And, that's what I did. Like, I love that stuff because I'm a problem solver. And so all of these everything that we've built is as a result of those meetings early on, right? So the next thing that we said was like, they all were complaining about the phone system. But imagine if you got your website, you got your contact management system, your workflow system is all built on the same platform, including your phone system. So now any calls you make to those contacts, or if they call in initially, since it's integrated to the contact management system, would it be great if we recorded those calls and automatically created a contact record and then attached those recordings to the contact record? Well, that's exactly what we do and more, to be quite frank. So we built what we call call flows, similar to a workflow. The difference is a call flow is literally triggered by an incoming call, right? So an incoming call comes in and now we can do some really cool things. We built the same type of intelligent phone system. It really is a smart phone system. So as an example, you can come in and say, man, these are my VIP buyers. We all know that buyers are not all created the same. So I can tag my VIP buyers, right? So I could tag Anish, right? I know Anish is a serious real estate investor. If he calls, I want that to go to my cell phone. If anybody else calls and I don't know the number, then hey, we could route them to a call center. We could route them to a voicemail. We could do all kinds of intelligent stuff like that. We could automatically trigger up follow-up text messages, follow-up ringless voicemails, all in the system. Most of the time, those are all different systems. And even if you find a system that does calling, texting, and ringless voicemails, then that's probably not a contact management system that probably doesn't provide your website. Really what we do is all one integrated solution, okay? All right, and I see some questions on text and stuff like that. I'll show you guys that, but it's literally, you can get our text messages as little as down to a penny and a half, right? So 1.5 cents. You can get we give you a ton of credits as well. All that stuff's included. All right, but I'll be happy to answer some of those questions at the end for sure. All right. Well, this was pretty cool too. So Sally Riddle, she's down in Dallas, and so the system's doing all the follow up for her. The system's like following up for her, and the prospect, the seller, literally says, "Hey, no rush." And I have to say, you are the most responsive person I've ever worked with, right? The most responsive person I've ever worked with, right? That's because the system's in place, right? All kinds of folks having great success with with just the phone system there, okay? Now, we also recognize, hey, look, you need mobile in your hand. So we just actually launched an all-new Profit Dial app. This is gonna allow you to quickly access all your contacts on the go. You see your inbound and outbound calling with built-in call recording, two-way texting so you can reach your contacts anywhere. What I love about this, and I'm gonna show you guys today, we're gonna log in and, God willing with the technology, you guys will be able to see my cell phone and you'll be able to see if I make a call, and as soon as I hang up, I can take notes on the call and I can even trigger up a follow-up workflow. So imagine I make a call and they tell me go jump in a lake. Well, okay, what do I gotta do? I can literally trigger the, hey, do not call, and the system will do all the things, right? I could create a do not call workflow. Okay, all right, well, that's not as fun, but hey, look, it happens and we get it. But what happens if they call in and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to get an offer, right? I'd love to get an offer. I'm totally interested. And now imagine at the end of that call, I hang up, take the notes, and I trigger the offer button, right? And I trigger the offer workflow, okay? So we can actually disposition the leads with smart follow-up right from the app, right? You can add new properties, all kinds of cool stuff here, right? Again, lots of good feedback on the app. All right, so the next piece we have, right? So we've got websites, we've got contact management system, we got workflows, we've got the smartphone system, we've got the mobile app, right? So you can do this from the palm of your hand. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna need in this business, look, we get it. You gotta analyze the properties, right? So you gotta be able to easy analyze the properties one place. So you can be sure that you're buying deals that are gonna make you the most profit, right? Be able to understand, really be able to understand, what's the best exit strategy with comp analysis and all of those things right at your fingertips. Okay, so we do all of that. James here says, hey, analyzing properties, it condensed a 2-hour job for him down into 15 minutes, having all of that data and resources right at your fingertips. Okay, next thing we have is team and task management. And look, it's okay if you don't have a team right now, totally okay. But if you do have a team, we're going to handle all of the team management, task management. You can pick and choose exactly what they have access to, what they don't. If you only want them to come in and have access just to your website, that's fine. If you don't want them to see your contacts, that's fine. You have total control over security and permissions and things of that nature. Assign tasks. You can see when they logged in, what activity are they doing? Did they edit a contact record? Did they add a contact record? Did they make calls? Are they doing the things to help you in your business? You'll be able to really delegate all of those down. Now, if you don't have a team, hey, Molly says, hey, it's very cool. I had no idea this was possible. REI Black Book seems to be a whole office staff for me, okay? All right, so if we do all of those things, right, we've got our website, we've got our contact management, right, we've got our workflows, we've got our phone system, we've got the mobile app, right, we've got our property, we've got the analysis, right, we got our team and task. Well, if we do all of those things, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna get more deals. And now we need to help you on the exit, right? So how can we help you on your property marketing? How can we help you market those properties so that you can close them faster, you can cash out faster? And it does not matter. Let me be clear here. It does not matter if you are a landlord looking for tenants. Fine, we'll help you with the marketing for tenants. It doesn't matter if you're a wholesale looking for those rehab buyers, those cash buyers. Doesn't matter. We'll help you with that. It doesn't matter if you are a rehabber looking for retail buyers. We're going to help you with that. We've got marketing strategies for that. If you are doing lease options, fine. We will help you with that. Are you doing creative strategies? Are you selling on owner financing? Are you, any of those types of strategies, guys? We've got an entire property marketing engine in here to help you find those end targets, right? And if you're doing multiple strategies, that's okay too, right? All the way from building a property website. So imagine a landing page for every property. And now I want to be clear here. This is like done for you already. You don't have to build this stuff. It's done for you. Property flyers, right? Print the flyers out, take them to the REIA club, put them on the deal desk, okay? Email blast, text blast, HTML flyers. We're gonna market the properties on multiple different websites for you, okay? So we got an entire marketing engine. Again, if you remember back in my mortgage days, this was selfish of me, all right? This was selfish of me because I knew if I could help you close the deal faster, if I can help you find the tenant faster, if I can help you find the end buyer faster, I knew that you'd be on to your next deal needing more capital and you'd come back to me for mortgage financing and things of that nature, okay? So this was a bit selfish of me back in the day, but this is really where most of it all started right here is on our property marketing engine. Super, super powerful, powerful marketing engine, okay?
All right, lots of good testimonials. This is actually was pretty awesome. Margie Cromwell, she says, "Hey, I got a phone call from an ad I didn't know I posted. The system did it for her, automatically posted. She landed a 15,000 deal from the back of a horse. She's really big into horses. She was actually on horseback when she got the call, right? And she's a self-proclaimed computer illiterate cave woman, meaning, look, she's not technical. Okay, you don't have to be technical to use this stuff. Most of the stuff can be built out for you, and some of it's just like ready to go out of the box. Okay. All right, we've got the turnkey bird dog system. So if you're doing bird dogging, we've got an entire training module on this inside of the software as well, but basically allows your bird dogs to log in and submit properties directly to you. Now they've got a portal so they can see all the deals they've submitted. Those deals come right into your REI Black Book platform, so you can manage them, automate it, systematize it, just like you would if the lead came in from a website, but you're going to be able to track it. It's really the cool thing. They can actually upload photos if they want, notes, and you can accept it, reject it, all kinds of things there with the bird dog management system. Okay. Track and optimize your online lead campaigns. This is probably one of those little bitty things that makes the biggest difference and can make the biggest difference in your business. Okay. What this really is, it is a unique tracking engine. So if you're going to go run Facebook ads, if you're going to run Google ads, any type of advertising and marketing that you're doing, specifically online, right? Any type of online. I don't care if you're going to go post a Craigslist ad. And I want you to recognize Facebook has multiple different ad type strategies. So I want to know, is my organic post on my feed, on my Facebook wall, is that generating leads more than my pay-per-click? Or what about the ads I'm posting in the groups? I can literally use different tracking links, very easy to set up. And all of that, I can quickly know how many clicks each link got, how many leads, but not just how many leads, it'll track it all the way through to see how many deals I closed, right? Because it's, this is where I think a lot of people get confused sometimes, and it's easy to do this. Sit there and say, if I told you, said, hey, which marketing campaign works better, right? I've got this ad over here generated 1,000 leads. This ad over here generated 10 leads. Which one's better, right? And the answer to that is it's going to depend, right? If I generate 1,000 leads, but I didn't close any deals, I generated 10 leads and I closed 2 deals from the 10, then that's the better marketing strategy, okay? So you need a system. This is why it's really important to have all of this kind of integrated and built to be able to have that visibility. And again, so we built the tracking and optimization engine right into the contact management system, deal management, so you can see that, right? Yeah, this is cool. Lori said, hey, just posted my ad about an hour ago. I have an 11 link clicks and 4 web form completions, right? So she knows that right away. Okay. Knows that right away. All right. Okay. We just introduced Facebook lead ad integration. I've got entire training in here, but some really cool stuff where they don't even have to go to a landing page or a website. You can pull the lead directly from Facebook, all their Facebook profile information that can automatically go right into REI Black Book. Got full training on this inside of the platform as well. Okay. So here's the thing. I wanted to kind of show you all of the stuff that we do so that you kind of know, it's like, look, man, these guys do a lot of stuff, right? We do a lot of stuff for sure. You don't have to do all that. If you're not doing Facebook lead ads, fine. Maybe all you need is a phone system right now. That's okay, right? We've priced this so aggressively that if all you did was use the phone system, I can tell you right now, the phone system alone is gonna make you a ton of money. All right. So don't get caught up in like, man, you guys did so much, I don't even need most of that stuff. You may not need it now, but just recognize the power is there when you need it. All right. So with all of that said, what I want to do is I want to take a quick minute. I'm going to go look at some of the questions, and I want to actually answer some questions. And then what we're going to do, guys, look straight up, we're going to get into the software. We're going to go set up this stuff. We're going to show you guys exactly how to get started. And oh yeah, by the way, before we jump into any more, like, all right, well, how much does it cost? Everything else. We do have a special offer. I know you guys are probably shocked, right? Right? No surprises here. Look, we got a special offer. I know that Kevin gave you guys an offer last Thursday or Wednesday, whatever that was that he met with you guys. That offer is still open, okay? And it's essentially, we're going to give you some bonuses. There's actually quite a few bonuses we're going to throw in, but we're going to leave that open for a brief period of time because we knew we were doing this training call, but it really is a simple $197. So it's just going to be reiblackbook.com/Ryan, and you can sign up for $197 a month. Okay. It includes all kinds of phone credits, the website, everything that I just showed you guys, you get. And we're going to log in and show you, okay? We're going to log in and show you. But I'd like to take the time. I'm going to go take a peek at the chat messages and the questions, see if we've got anything.
Yep, you just got one question that they're asking so far.
All right, so the cost and text. Okay, and I'll show you guys that at the by the end of the call. Okay, so all right, so just calls and text. Okay, all right, so let's jump in and let's start doing the fun stuff. All right, we got all the.
Yeah, and Damon, you probably noticed that we have a lot of people. They're a one-man show. I know you kind of touched on that a little bit too.
Yep.
So it's good for even a one-man show, groups, all the above. So don't feel that you have to. I know that it's like this thing does everything and then some. I was joking with Kevin the other day too. I said, hey, when are you going to be able to find the deal, close it, and just mail me a check? Can you just automate my...
That's what we call the print money button. So we're working on the print money button. Okay. So yeah. We do, it does feel like everything in the kitchen sink. So admittedly, guys, it can feel overwhelming. And that's really what today's training is going to be about, is we're going to kind of walk you through, hey, what do we need to do to get started? Okay. So what do we need to do to get started? And I'm going to jump right into the software right now. So I just want to make sure, Nish, you can see the screen. It's the homepage of REI Black Book.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Good. So this is just completely web-based. Most software is these days, but way back in 2009 when we started this, there wasn't much web-based software. So what you're going to log in and you'll see a quick dashboard, right? Landing pages, websites. We typically will do special announcements, things like that here. We just introduced the mobile app to manage all your incoming phone communication, contacts, properties, all of that stuff from the mobile app. You can quickly see how many new leads do I have, any tasks that are due, and of course your property pipeline, right? How many new properties do you have? How many are under evaluation? How many properties do I have under contract? How many have I closed? I can quickly analyze properties, quick add, all from the home screen, okay? But what we really want to do is what we typically tell folks, there's some very basic account setup things that we want to do. You want to set up your profile, make sure you're getting alerts, and make sure your cell phone's in there. So some very basic profile information stuff. You'll do that right up here. Okay. So if I click on my name, you're going to notice you got a My Account section, but you also got a marketing profile section. Okay. So your account information is, of course, just that. It's the account information, your billing, your plan information, your cost per minutes, all of that stuff is going to be managed right here in your account. And then really you're going to set up your marketing profiles as well. And then also super important, you got your system settings here. Okay. So that you're going to really kind of control everything as far as your account information is all under your name. So just click on that. Everything is right there, including the team module. Okay. So I'll show you this really quick. So again, some of you don't have team members, and if you don't have a team members, then quite honestly, this is probably a must-have system, sincerely. And look, if it's not REI Black Book, okay, I know that we're the best on the market. If I didn't believe that, I'd probably need a new job, okay? But I'm not naive, guys. I know there's other tools and technology out there. You could certainly do a Podio with CallRail and go get a Carrot website. So you can still start buying all these separate tools. It's going to cost you more money in the long run, right? It's going to be several $100s a month, and then you got to figure out how to make them all talk. You could certainly do that, okay? But if you're a one-man band, I've got to tell you straight up, you need to go do that. It's the only way you're going to ever build consistency in your business, all right? If you want to get paid consistently and repeatedly, you got to have a system, okay? So here's our team manager. You can quickly see all the folks on your team. Are they active? Are they inactive? And then all of the activity. I can see when they logged in. I can see, okay, they created a page here on 10/10. We set up a property blast. We sent out emails. I can see every activity. This is basically the team activity, so I can see exactly what they're doing. If you've got VAs and they're supposed to be working, hey, great little tool to make sure that they're doing things and they're actually active, right? So I don't care if they edit a contact. I don't care if they send an email. I don't care what they do through the system. It's going to track every one of those little activities on every little contact, okay? Now, once you actually set up a team member, I'm just going to click on a team member here. I could, of course, drill down to their user activity, see that. I could deactivate this user if I wanted to, reset their password. But then I can come over here to permissions as well, right? And so I could set up my general, literally allow or deny. Pretty simple. Do I want them to add contacts? I could, nope, deny it. I don't want them to delete contacts. That's a really popular one. You could come in and say, nope, they can't delete contacts. Maybe they can't edit contacts. They can't export them. Maybe I just let them add contacts and import. Okay. And that's it. Okay. So I've got complete control over my team members. Okay. Complete control over my team members. And Jack, great question. So the $197 a month, we do have multiple subscription plans. We've got a 97, 197, and 297. What we encourage everybody to start with is the 197. Okay. The 197 does include 10 user accounts. Okay. It includes 10 user accounts, 10 phone numbers. We're going to get into some of that stuff a little bit later. But great question. All right. Okay. So, once we kind of get our basic account information set up, and I want to also add that I've got a PDF getting started guide. I'm going to upload that. I'll throw it in the chat box. You guys can download that, and it's going to walk through everything that I'm doing, even in more detail. Okay, so I'm going to kind of give you guys the 30,000 foot view, hopefully narrow it down to about 10,000 foot. And then really, if you want that 10-foot view, I'm going to give you the PDF, and it's going to show you everything again. So instead of what I want to make sure you get here is I want you to make sure that you understand what you should be doing. And if you miss a detail and you're like, Damon, daggum, or if you're trying to follow along with me, maybe you got a second screen, then I would encourage you to just focus on what I'm doing, not necessarily trying to do it at the same time just yet, because I'll give you all of those resources to make it even easier in the detailed clicks and videos and everything else. Well, speaking of that, let me just show you, okay? We've got a couple of resources up here. First and foremost, we do webinars. Our support team does a webinar every Wednesday. All of our webinar replays are in here, but you can attend those live every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. But if you can't make it, they're recorded. And we do have an entire support center. So if I wanted to say, all right, so let's go in here and say, how do I set up a new phone number? I can, well, you guys are going to see, hold on. I'm logged on as an administrator, so hold on. So this is what the support center will look like for you. So if you want to come in and say, okay, well, all right, those workflows sounded really cool. How do I do a workflow? What is it? So you come in here, you just click on workflows, and it's going to show you all of these are training videos and articles step by step on everything. You know, if I just want a basic introduction, do I want to build a first workflow? Do I want to send email? All of that stuff is available to you right here inside the support center. Okay. Tons and tons of training in here. Do it yourself training if you want. But we also have a really active Facebook community of all our users. So that's a link right here. So you can join our Facebook community and learn, not just because the thing about REI Black Book at this point, guys, it's kind of like Legos. Like we've built a really awesome Lego set. And some of the things that we've seen people build is just amazing. It's like, you know, we built these basic little bricks, and now all of a sudden to see some of the stuff that people are building has just been phenomenal. And so join that community, and it's really awesome. I mentioned this earlier. Real estate investing is just one of the few industries, you know, only one that I've personally seen where you've got others that are willing to share their business systems and their tactics and strategies and willing to help one another. It's really a unique industry in that way. And so we've got that Facebook community, okay? All right, so with all of that said, here's the first thing that we really want to do, okay? We are going to go in and build, what I want to do first is really the things that I want you to focus on, really going to be two things, and it's going to be, how do I capture leads, right? And this is going to be a little bit different for everybody. So the question is going to be, all right, am I doing ads to drive them to my website, or am I, and really there's typically three different ways that we're going to encourage you. It's either the call to action, right? So all that marketing on that direct response, right? Direct response marketing, it's going to require a call to action. So what is your call to action? Is it go to my website and give me your property address and I'll give you a cash offer? So that's a direct call to action. So the cool thing about that is I can see how many people went to the website, right? How many people went to the website, how many people fill out the web form. So now I can start tracking that. That call to action could be, hey, call me, right? Call me. And that could go to your cell phone. You could route it to a call center. You know, we refer folks over to Pat Live or Call Porter, depending upon the level of reps you want answering the phone. So the call to action could be call me, or the call to action could be text, right? So we've seen a lot of folks, when we do a lot of direct mail and things of that nature, we've seen a really good bump in our response rate, having folks call to action text, right? So it might say, hey, text cash to this number for an offer on 123 Main Street, right? So seen some really cool stuff like that. But so no matter what though, what we want to do is we want to set up the phone system. So for incoming calls or incoming text, those are called keywords, right? So that cash, text cash is a keyword. Okay, you can set that up inside the system. And then we also want to set up our website, right? So those are the three things that I'm going to show you guys how to set up. Now, what I want you to envision, in fact, let me see if this is going to work. I'm going to try this. I got a new iPad so that it kind of serves as a whiteboard. And I'm going to cross my fingers because this is going to be the first time I've tried it. If it doesn't work, that's okay. I've got some other ways to show you. But I want to draw this out, guys, because this is really, really cool. Really, really cool what we want to do here. So if you envision that, let's see, I'm going to stop that share really quick. And I'm going to share again. And we're going to say iPad. What? Did that change? Okay. All right, doesn't look like it's going to work. That's okay. We actually already got this pre-drawn out for you. So what I want you guys to envision is once we have our phone system set up to take calls or text, or somebody goes to our website, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we've got the right systems in place. We can take all of those leads and we can put them right, we can funnel them right into the same process, so that we know that they're going to be intelligently followed up every single time, no matter if they came in via our website, right, from a direct mail campaign or billboard or ads, no matter what type of advertising strategy. If they come into our website, they come into our phone system and or texted us, we want them to follow the same process every single time, okay? And I've got a little bit of a cheat sheet here. And I'll be happy to give you guys this copy too, okay? So bear with me. I'm going to share this in just a second. All right, stop share. Let's try this again. Okay. So this is our lucid chart map, okay? So really what we're going to start working on this morning is I want to start building out the first steps of our leaky bucket for leads. Okay, we want to start plugging that leaky bucket. All right. Now I want you to recognize that REI Black Book will still help you in the analysis workflows, in the exit strategies, and we've got more stuff. In fact, I've got one member. It's really cool. If they get told no and the offer's not accepted, then he puts them in a 90-day workflow. He puts them in a 90-day workflow to keep following up with them, and he actually closed an extra 37 deals in a 12-month period. So he closed an extra 37 deals in a 12-month period after being told no. So his initial offer was rejected, or he didn't get the appointment. So he was told no at that crucial point, and he triggers another workflow for a 90-day follow-up, and he won 37 extra deals in a 12-month period just because he had the right systems in place. Okay, so I'm telling you guys that because, hey, look, we're going to focus on one part of this elephant, right? And all we're going to do is focus on the lead generation and capture right now. Okay, so let's try it. I'm going to zoom in on this and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to build an inbound seller call flow. Okay, so what happens when my phone rings? Okay, so if I send out a direct mail, it's a bandit sign. Maybe I do a radio ad, a billboard. It doesn't matter. All right, I put my phone number on those ads, and I want the call to come in. I want to be able to tag that call. I want to source it. I want a contact record to be created. I want a notification. I want to receive a notification. So I might be forwarding this to my call center. So I might want to get a notification that a new incoming lead call came in. I want to see, and this is where we start talking about smartphone system. If somebody answers it, go ahead and do this. If nobody answers it, do this, okay? Right? So we can kind of do some branching. There's some other ways we can do smart routing, but I want you to understand this, okay? So in the chat box, if you can, in the chat box, say, yep, I get it, I understand. The point of it is, if they call in, we're going to tag them, we're going to source them, we're going to trigger a notification. All of these things are going to happen, and this is going to happen pretty much immediately as soon as they call in, right? As soon as they call in, all of this stuff happens. Now, the beauty of this is, I would like to know if it's a direct mail or billboard or radio ad, you know, no matter what I did to make the phone ring, I would like to be able to track that so I can see, oh, wow, that yellow postcard, I got 10 phone calls. Oh, the blue postcard, I got 15 phone calls, right? So I can track it and tag it differently and set different sources based upon the proper setting this up properly, okay? So you're gonna typically have multiple phone numbers in your business, right? So each, you know, direct mail, I'd have a phone number for direct mail. I'd have a phone number for my bandit signs, a different phone number for my radio ads, a different phone number for my billboards, okay? So inside the $197 a month plan comes with 10 user accounts, but it also comes with 10 phone numbers for your tracking, okay? So you get 10 separate dedicated phone numbers. Those are your phone numbers dedicated to you that you can use for your tracking. But it's really important to understand that we're going to put a tracking phone number on each ad, right? Each different type of ad. And it's going to come in and we're going to tag it, source it, set it. But you're going to notice that I'm going to go ahead and trigger what I call the 10-day follow-up. Okay. The 10-day follow-up. Now I'm going to give you guys all of the supporting documentation on this. I'm going to give you each email, text. And by the end of this, I'm going to give you guys all of this so you can go set this up on your own. And some of it's already set up for you inside of REI Black Book. Okay. But it's important because as soon as that call comes in, I want to increase the frequency and the urgency. So we know that the calls are going to come in and I'm either not going to be able to answer every call or they're not ready at the time. So I'm going to drop them into a 10-day follow-up. And the ultimate point of that 10-day follow-up is to get them on the phone with me. But they have to know, I'm going to filter them out because they got to know, like, hey, look, you know, are you motivated, right, to sell the property kind of thing. I don't want to have to talk to everybody. And there's a few ways that we're going to do that. Okay. So that's what we're going to do with our inbound calls. Okay. Now, if they fill out a web form, so they go to our website and they say, hey, I want a cash offer. We're going to do the same thing, right? It doesn't matter if it came from search engine optimization, if it came from Google ads, Bing ads, Facebook ads. It does not matter. If they came to our website, we want to tag it. We want to source it, right? We want to source it. We want to assign tasks, send out email notifications, maybe text replies. But then as soon as that happens, this happens instantly, right? All of this happens instantly. And then no matter what, I'm going to drop them into the 10-day follow-up funnel as well. Okay. So, and then same thing with keywords on texting, right? So all of this blue section, it's going to happen instantly. It's going to happen instantly. And then it drops them into the same 10-day follow-up funnel. Okay. So if we zoom out and look at this, what's going to happen if it comes in via phone system, comes in via web form or texting, we're going to, if we get a hold of them, by the way, let me be clear. If we get a hold of them and they say, yep, I want an offer. Yes. Then they automatically come down here to our analyze deal workflow, right? Now we need to analyze the deal. So there's a whole separate workflow to manage the actual operation and the deal management piece of this. Okay. But if we don't get a hold of them, so for whatever reason, the lead wasn't contacted or they did not, you know, we didn't confirm that they want us to an offer at this point, we're going to drop them into the 10-day follow-up workflow. Okay. So that 10-day follow-up workflow, I'm just going to click on that and you're going to see exactly what that looks like. Okay. So we're going to wait a day, right? So remember, they call in, some things happen. I'm going to send them notification back instantly. All that stuff's going to happen. I'm going to respond, whether it's, I'm going to send them a text reply back, an email reply back, or an RVM, or all three. I can do all of that in that instantaneous moment that they engage with us, right? They follow our call to action. I'm going to wait a day. And basically I'm going to wait a day. And if we haven't dispositioned the lead that says, hey, we're going to go analyze this because we talked to them live, right? And we're going to schedule an appointment already, whatever, then it's going to skip this step. But if we didn't talk to them live or we didn't schedule an appointment, then we're going to drop them right here into this 10-day follow-up, right? So maybe I'm at work, I can't answer the phone, bam, they instantly get immediate response. It's going to wait a day and then it's going to send them a text reply, right? We're going to wait another day. We're going to send them a text reply and a ringless voicemail. We're going to wait a day, then we're going to shoot them an email. We're going to wait a day, send a text reply. Wait 2 days, send a text reply and a ringless voicemail. Here, let me be clear on this, okay? All of this stuff, I've got all of these items to tell you, hey, this is exactly what that text message should say. Here's what the ringless voicemail should say, okay? All of that stuff is included right inside of REI Black Book. I'm going to show you exactly where to get all of the training. Watch this in even more detail. The most important piece here is I want you to understand what we're doing, right? Lead comes in, they call. We do the immediate workflow, which tags them, sources them, categorizes them, notifications, and then it triggers the 10-day follow-up funnel. Now, after the 10 days, you're going to notice it's going to trigger our 6-month follow-up, right? So if we trigger our 6-month follow-up, what does that look like, right? So our 6-month follow-up, right? It's going to drop them right in here to the 6-month. And the 6-month, which by the way, is just going to continually repeat itself. So it could go on literally for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I was just talking to one of our investors on Thursday. She actually runs the REI club, the big REI convention up in Ohio. And she's said, hey, Damon, man, this is crazy. But I'm closing a deal. We've been following up with them for over 2 years, right? And I think they're closing that hopefully next week, as sounds like. But the point of it is really what we want to do is make sure that no lead is left behind, okay? Same thing for a website. Lead comes in, and then we're going to drop them right here into this 10-day follow-up, okay? So I'm going to try to find the chat box. Where is the chat box? The chat window disappeared on me. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I want to ask right here, I want to make sure that you guys get the strategy here, okay? So what we need to do is we need to set up the phone system, right? So we need to go set up phone numbers. You need to know how to do that. We're going to build out a website. You need to know how to do that. And you need to know how to set up the keyword, okay? This is the basic stuff that you need to set up to get started on the automation. Now, don't get me wrong. We got more stuff to do, right? You can automate the offer process. You can automate a lot more of this stuff, but right now, this is what I'm gonna jump into REI Black Book. We're gonna set up the phone system. We're gonna set up the website. We're gonna set up a keyword. Okay. I want to make sure that you guys understand that. So in the chat box, I'm watching the chat box right now. You know, give me I got it. So I see Karen said I got it. I appreciate that. So give me some feedback here that lets me know you guys understand this. Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. Taryn, what's up? I see you there. Okay. Got it. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. That helps me because I want to make sure if there's any questions, I answer them before we move on, because it's really important that you understand the strategy component. Okay. So now let's get in and let's go do some of the fun stuff. All right. Okay. So we're going to go build a phone number. All right. This is not this. And guys, honestly, it takes me way longer to explain what we're going to do and why we're going to do it than it takes you to go build it. Okay. It's really simple to build out a phone number. Okay. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go ahead and go to system settings. We're going to go to system settings and we're going to add new. All right. Now we do have two types of phone numbers. We've got an information hotline and we've got a business line. Most of you guys, 90% of the time, you're going to use a business line. Information hotlines, those are great for free recording type numbers. You probably have seen these where it's like, hey, call, assign writers at a house, call this number, dial this extension, and hear a recording all of it describing this property, right? So you put it on the sign writer, you can put newspaper ads. That's the information hotline, okay? A great tool, but most of us need the business line, right? If I'm going to do a business line, that's going to give me the number. They're going to call the number. I'm going to route them to either my cell phone or the call center or some other automated method. Okay. So most of you guys go ahead and select the business line for the first one. So let's go ahead and select business line. And then it's just going to come up and tell us, hey, what is your area code? How do we find a good number? All right. So come in here. I'm going to type an area code. And we'll go ahead and search for numbers. So I'm in 314 up here in Missouri. And I always say, every time I do one of these demos, I always say, I'm going to just pick a number, but I've got so many daggone phone numbers. I always like to find a really good number that's going to be somewhat memorable. I like the 1080. So 314-916-1080. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. So let's go ahead and select that number and that's it. Right. So let's say that I'm going to do driving for dollars. So driving for dollars, I'm going to go ahead and use my Profit Drive, profitdrive.com. So I'm going to name this profitdrive.com. So what I'm going to use my Driving for Dollars app. All right. So my Driving for Dollars app, I'm going to use this phone number on all of my direct mail to my Driving for Dollars. So I want to be able to track and know that these came, this came from my Profit Drive system. Okay. That's really what I'm doing here. So I'm going to name it. This is just an internal name to identify it in the system. So instead of always having to remember 314-916-1080, I'm going to have it set up so it's, oh, that's my profitdrive.com number, okay? And in fact, I'm going to take a couple of notes here for myself so I remember that. So 314-916-1080. All right, okay. Now, next it says set up a call flow, okay? The call flow, basically, all that really is like if somebody calls this number, what do I want to happen? What do I want to happen? Now, I'm going to encourage you, most of you, what I would encourage you to do before you get in here, just whiteboard it out. Take a piece of paper and just draw out what you want to happen whenever somebody calls. And pretty much if you can think of it, we can probably do it, okay? Again, we're Legos, so you can probably do it. So that really means, you know, if I'm thinking about this, it's like, okay, if somebody calls, you know, I'm going to use this for my profitdrive.com, a Driving for Dollars program. So if somebody calls that number, I want to make sure that I set the source to Profit Drive. Okay. All right, cool. If I set that source, maybe I want to tag them because I'm advertising for distressed sellers. So I want to go ahead and tag them sellers. So I want to think about later on, if I want to go into my database and I want to be able to easily pull the data out and extract and get this data so I can make informed, educated decisions on, hey, did that marketing campaign really work? How many calls did I get? How many deals did I close? So it starts with tagging them and sourcing them properly, okay? So I'm going to tag it, all right? So the system's going to tag it. It's going to create a contact record, and all those tags are going to be added to the contact record automatic. Well, the tags you got to tell it what tags to apply. The contact record will be created automatically, and then we got to tell it, hey, what tags and what source do I want? Okay, so that'd be tagging and sourcing. Now I'm going to sit back and I say, okay, do I want it to go to my cell phone? If it goes to my cell phone, what happens if I don't answer? Right? So if it goes to my cell phone, what happens if I don't answer it live? Do I want it to go to my call center? What happens if they answer? What happens if it doesn't go live? Maybe I want to, what happens if it's a second time they've called in? Okay. What happens if it's the second time they called in, right? And maybe I want to route them to a different. So the first time caller from my marketing campaign, the first time caller, it goes to Pat Live. If they call again, then I don't want to use Pat Live. If you guys use Pat Live, they're kind of what I call order takers, just really simple, easy, kind of more phone receptionist type stuff. I don't want them to go to Pat Live again. They've already answered the call and they should have keyed that data directly into my REI Black Book platform, right? We can give them a simple web form and they can just key in the data right from their phone system. Okay, we got people do it all the time. So if they call in a second time, then maybe I want to route them to my office and or my cell phone, depending upon how I'm doing the business, right? So the thing that I want you to kind of think about is I want you to think about what is the experience, what is the consistent experience that you want everybody that calls that postcard, right? From in this case, it's profitdrive.com, right? Like what is the exact consistent experience you want everybody to have, right? That's what you want to draw out. Now, once you do that, we're going to go build it. Okay. We're going to go build it. We're going to simply come in here and hit create new call flow. So we're going to go ahead. And I also want to point out step 3, you can apply your tags and sourcing here. So we're going to do that even before we build the call flow, right? So I'm going to go ahead and set my source is going to be Profit Drive. All right. So we'll go ahead and say profitdrive.com as a source. If it doesn't exist, you can simply create the tag. Right, so there we go. That's created. There we go. Profit Drive. Oh, it's already created. There we go. We can set tags. So I said, hey, this is going to be our seller. So there's our seller. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and X that out. All right. So we can add multiple tags, by the way. I mean, I could come in here and say, this is my, Driving for Dollars if I wanted to. Create that tag. So I can come in here and create multiple tags for sure. Okay. So I've set my source and I've added 2 tags. Okay. Now I want to go in and create my new call flow. And so we're going to go ahead and hit create new call flow. Now the question is where do we want this call to go? Normally the first thing we're probably going to do is forward the call. Okay. Is forward the call. I see a couple of your questions and I'll answer those. Taryn, I see your question. And Anonymous, I see your question as well. I'll make sure I get to those in just a second, okay? So the first thing most of us are gonna do is probably go to a forwarding, right? So we're just gonna click on forwarding, and we come up and say, okay, where do we wanna forward this? If you wanna forward it to your cell phone, great. If you wanna forward it to your call center, great. Normally, like a Pat Live or anything like that, they're gonna give you a number that's gonna be a unique number for your business that they say, hey, forward all the calls. That's gonna let their reps know that this is for your business, right? In this instance, we're gonna go ahead and use 1-800-507-1945, right? That's that's the main office line here at REI Black Book, okay? The next question it's going to ask you is like, hey, what's the caller, when forwarding, which phone number do you want to display on the caller ID? Do you want the caller's phone number? So in this case, the seller, do you want their phone number, or do you want the profit dial number called? So do you want the 314-916-1080? Here's what I'm going to suggest you do. If you're forwarding this to a call center, make sure the caller's phone number is the caller ID. If you're sending it to your cell phone, then use the profit dial number called as the caller ID. Why do we do that? Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this number, 314-916-1080. I'm gonna create a contact in my cell phone, directly in my cell phone, and I'm gonna use that phone number. So now whenever I get a call on my cell phone, now notice they're gonna call 314-916-1080. So that's what's on the postcard. They call 314-916-1080. My cell phone is gonna ring. They do not have my real cell phone number. My cell phone's going to ring, but it's going to pop up and it's going to say profitdrive.com. So I know that that's not my buddy Kevin. And I'm going to be like, hey man, what's up? Or hey, this is Damon. No, I see that it's 314-916-1080. It comes up and it's like, hi, this is ABC Real Estate. How can I help you? Right? So I know how to answer it. Okay. So that's just a little tip. Use the profit dial number called. Now remember earlier I said, what happens if they answer it or don't answer it? Okay. You can add branching. If it was answered, we know that. We know whether you picked up or not. Okay. Then I could come back down here. This is why we tag it in the system. I can come in here and say tag. I can say answered. So now I can start tracking. How many calls were answered, right? I could create a notification. So I could actually send a notification to somebody on my team. I could assign a task. I could trigger an email. I could trigger back a ringless voicemail. I could smart route. I could add a delay. So I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, they answered it. I'm going to wait, let's go ahead and wait 33 minutes. So I want you to think about this. They answered it. My call center answered it. Tagged answered, and then delay 33 minutes. And if I wanted to, I could then send a text reply to the contact and says, hey, thank you for your call. How did my rep do? How did the rep treat you? Were they professional? And I'm just making stuff up here, guys. Okay, I'm just making stuff up. I don't know that I would really do this for real estate investing, but I'm just like, what I want to drive home here is when I say Legos, these are the Lego bricks. So you can pretty much build out whatever you really want here. But here's the most important piece here. What I'm going to do is at the end of it, even if it was answered, I'm going to go ahead and trigger a workflow. So that we're going to trigger the workflow so that that 10-day follow-up funnel is followed up, right? This is how no lead is left behind kind of thing, right? So no matter what happens, remember that 10-day follow-up is going to wait a day and then go ahead and continue the follow-up, okay? So that's what happens if it's answered. If there's no answer, maybe I want to go ahead and send a text reply. So my call center doesn't answer, or I don't answer my cell phone, right? I'm going to go ahead and text them back. Sorry, I missed your call. Is this pertaining to selling a house? Now, I don't want the system to send that back like instantaneous, so I'm going to go ahead and add a delay here. So I'm going to insert that, and I'm going to wait for about 7 minutes. And maybe I do, 3. Let's just do 3 minutes. So let's think about what we're doing here. The call comes in. It's going to forward either to my cell phone or my call center, and if it answers, we're going to tag it answered, and we're going to send them a text message, and then we're going to trigger the 10-day follow-up. If they don't answer, we're going to wait 3 minutes. We're going to send a text reply back, says, hey, sorry, I missed your call. Is this pertaining to selling a house? And then I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to insert another delay, right? I'm going to wait 1 minute, and I'm going to send them back a ringless voicemail. And then I'm going to upload a recording, and it's basically going to say, hey, sorry, I missed your call. Please text me. Right? So whatever that call recording is, right? And then out of all of that, I'm going to then go ahead and come in here and trigger my 10-day follow-up. Okay? So I want you guys to think about what I just did, okay? That's super simple, right? Nothing I did is there's no programming, nothing. I'm reading, pointing, clicking, telling the system what I want it to do. I set up a phone number, 314-916-1080. Okay, it's automatically going to go to my 1-800-507-1945. If it is answered, we're going to tag it answered. We're going to wait 33 minutes. We're going to send a text reply. How did my rep do? And then we're trigger the 10-day follow-up. Okay, that's what is answered. If it wasn't answered, we're going to wait 3 minutes. It's going to say, hey, sorry, I missed your call. Is this pertaining to selling a house? Okay. All right. I'm going to wait 1 minute, and then I'm going to send them a ringless voicemail. And that ringless voicemail in their voicemail box could be, hey, sorry, I missed your call. Shoot me a text back in a meeting, right? The whole point and purpose of this is just to get them to the next step and to engage. For most of us, I'll tell you right now, a lot of us really love to engage in the text messaging to start going back and forth. I then could send them a link. If I wanted to send a text message and link them to my website or anything else, I could certainly do all of that, okay? But no matter what, if I don't engage with them right now, I'm going to wait a day. So the system, the 10-day follow-up, I'm going to wait a day and then trigger my 10-day follow-up. Okay. So I want you to think about just that. If all you guys did, I'm telling you right now, if all you set up, I promise you it's worth $197 a month and then some. Okay. So because if this doesn't help you close one more deal in the next 12 months, I would be shocked. All right. This typically will increase most investors' business by anywhere from 40 to 50%. And that is because the majority of deals that you get are all due to the follow-up. There's a majority of folks that are not ready to engage. Statistically speaking, only really 2% are ready to engage in the first 30 days. So there's as high as 42% will happen 12 months or longer. 12 months or longer. So if you're not following up consistently with every lead that comes in the door, you are leaving money on the table. All right. So if that's all you did was said, hey, all I want to do is use the phone system. That's it. I promise you'll get a return on that investment. Okay. I see questions coming in, and I promise you I'm going to answer those. Jack, I see some really good questions. That you've got, man. And I promise you I will answer those. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let's come back in here. I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, this is my profit drive call flow. I'm going to name it. And we're going to save and close it. And then that's going to take me back here. So at this point, guys, it really is that simple. We just set up our very first phone line. Now you can see I got a lot of phone numbers in here. And this is a demo account. So I do this quite often. But let's come in here. And there's one other thing that I want to show you guys here that I would also encourage you to do. So we just set up the profitdrive.com phone number. It's 314-916-1080. Okay. It's going to trigger this call flow. So this is exactly the experience that they're going to get every single caller, every single time. It's going to be very consistent. But you know what? I also want to go ahead and enable call recording. So I'm going to go ahead and hit disabled here. So if I scroll up, this says call recording. So we're going to go ahead and hit disabled. It's going to pop up, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on recording for incoming calls and outgoing calls, because you can make outgoing calls because you're going to want to use that caller ID, right? They saw 314-916-1080 on the postcard. So when you make outbound calls, you want to make sure you're calling them back at 314-916-1080. That's the caller ID. So you can make outbound calls and record those. You do need to pay attention to your particular state. I know most of you guys are in Florida, so I don't know the laws in Florida. I don't know if you have to have some states will require you to have consent from one party on the call, and that would mean that you consent, right? So if you got two parties on the call, you're one party, and if the state requires only one party, then you don't have to do a notification. If it requires two-party consent, then you do need a whisper message. And sometimes this is just good anyways. It gives a level of professionalism. And so what happens is on the incoming call or whatever, you can actually come in here and say, yeah, go ahead and do the whisper message. And so we've got a couple of recordings here. So we'll go ahead and do the female here. And I'll play the message and you guys will understand what I'm talking about here.
This call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance purposes.
All right. And if you guys want a male voice, hey, we've got that. So this is me after a long night out. Okay. So just so you guys hear, yeah, what do you think?
This call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance purposes.
Okay. So we can come in, turn those on. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. I don't need that here. So let's go ahead and hit save changes. And so now we've got that number set up. We just set up the phone number 314-916-10080. Call recording set up. And now I will be able to run all kinds of reports. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like when calls come in. I'm going to show you guys exactly what it looks like when calls come in. In fact, there's one other thing I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and edit the number. Oh, you know what I want to do is I actually want to edit that call flow. So I also would encourage you, I'm going to make this only 5 seconds. How long to wait if the destination doesn't answer? So what that is, it's going to wait 5 seconds. So it's going to ring 1-800-507-1945. It's going to ring it for 5 seconds. If it doesn't answer, then it's going to go ahead and go to this no answer. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and change this to 3 minutes. REI blackbook.com/Ryan. All right. Go to the no answer. And we will save and close that. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys do. Okay. I'm going to ask, I know some of you may be watching this from your cell phone or whatever, and that's totally okay. What I'm going to ask that you do is you take out your phone right now. You take out your phone right now and you dial 314-916-10080. And I'm going to look at questions. I'm going to look at questions and I'm going to answer questions now as well. Okay. But if you guys call, I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like when you start receiving incoming calls. So first of all, I don't have it sent to my cell phone because I've got it literally that ringing my main office line, but really I'm going to let the system pick up and do everything that I need it to do. So if you guys can, go ahead and call 314-916-1080. Okay, so call that number and we're going to show you exactly what it looks like. You'll experience it, right? Does anybody nobody's actually in my office today. It's Saturday, so they're probably not going to answer. Maybe the voicemail picks up, maybe, but it should go to the no answer and forward you, okay? All right, yep, I see some numbers coming in. So here's what I want you guys to understand. I know you can't see this quite well just yet, but I will show you this in a bit. I see the calls coming in on my mobile phone, right? So you guys are actually calling, and it's ringing my office, right? I can see I got 1, 2, 3, right? I got 2040. Whose last phone number is 2040? Go ahead and chat out in the box, right? 7905-7530. I can see all those calls coming in. All right, I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 7 calls that came in. I can see Taryn. Taryn, you called in. And here's how I know Taryn called in, guys. It tells me because Taryn's already a contact in my REI Black Book database. So it knows that and it says, oh, hey, guess what? Taryn called. So I can see all of that, right? So yeah, I mean, I've got a whole list of incoming calls right now. So thank you guys for participating. And I'm going to show you guys the Profit Out app in just a little bit. But let's take an opportunity here and answer questions. Let's answer some questions. All right. All right. So how does the comp analysis work? From where does it pull data? How often are you able to filter perimeters, distance, size, bedrooms, etc.? We're going to get to that in a little bit. I'll show you guys some of the comp stuff. At the end of the day, we pull it from public records. So it's going to be dependent upon where you guys are at, of how accurate, up to the date, you know, how online is your county and how often do they publish that data. We're not pulling from the MLS. Okay. So I just want to be clear on that. We're not pulling MLS data. We're pulling public record data. So REI Black Book, this is it's what I call my gut check indicator. If somebody calls in, I don't have to log into the MLS and call my real estate agent and try to get comps. I want to get a good, what I call our gut check indicator. I want to kind of see what comps are doing, what's in the area. And some areas are going to definitely be better than others. Admittedly, some, Florida's pretty good. You guys most of the time have have some decent data down there and everything else. But it's all public record data. So Taryn says, hey, can someone text to an information hotline? Yes, they can. They can text an information hotline. Yes, they can. All right. Can you link to other platforms? All right. Anonymous. So, here's the thing. You really can link to pretty much anything. With what we just did, I want you really to be clear here. I'm going to take that phone number, 916-10080, and I could put that on a billboard on the side of the highway, right? We buy houses. Call us now. Avoid foreclosure. Call us now, 916-1080. I'm going to take that phone number and I'm going to put it on the billboard. Okay. So whenever you say, can it integrate? The answer is yes, from a excuse me, what we call more of an analog method, right? So offline methods, you can absolutely integrate. So now those calls come in, the contact's automatically created and it tags it because it says, hey, that was billboard. So now I know how many calls I got from that billboard. It's going to track it all the way through closing. Now there are other systems like Mojo Dialer and Call Tools and other tools like that we integrate with so that the data can really synchronize. So there are lots of systems that we can integrate. And in fact, we should have a Zapier integration very, very soon as well. All right. So Jack, you asked a lot of questions, which is good. I appreciate that. It means you're paying attention. All right. So I'm just going to read them and I'll answer them as quick as I can. All right. So I have a few questions. Yeah. Okay. Can you attach external documents with mail merge from a record? The answer is yes. All right. Can you add custom fields if needed? Yes, you can add unlimited custom fields. Can you merge fields from a record into a text message? The answer is yes. You can actually merge custom fields. Can you have template for mail, email pieces? Yes. What happens if we get a number that has been blocked or spam identified as telemarketer by phone carriers? So our phone numbers from our provider are what we call clean. So, and I don't know exactly how they do it, to be very candid, but our carrier, our phone number provider, they basically guarantee that it is a clean number and it's not being blocked or spammed or anything else. Okay. So they guarantee it. So you should not have a problem with that. All right. Is there a call disposition report? In other words, how can we verify the quality of our VA interactions? Well, let me tell you how you can do that. All right. What you're going to do is you're going to be able to get call reports, right? Call reports. Every call is going to be recorded. In fact, I'm going to stop share. Let me pause share really quick. So what I'm going to do, and Taryn, I'm going to ask you to help me with this. I'm going to change this to my cell phone number on the call flow. All right. So Taryn, if you wouldn't mind, Taryn, would you mind calling that 314-916-1080 again, or anybody, to be quite honest, but Taryn, I know you're always willing to play along. You've been with us for a long time. I appreciate that. So just call 314-916-1080. All right, so that rang my cell phone this time. Hey, what's up? How are you? All right. Is there any big questions that you have? Is this going okay, or we need to speed things up, slow things down? What do you think? All right, cool. All right, well, thanks so much. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye. Okay, so what I did, I want to be clear. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and resume the share. What I did, guys, is I went into that call flow, and instead of forwarding it to my office, I forwarded it to my cell phone, right? So that's how quickly I can redirect and change stuff. So I just changed it real quick to have those calls come to my cell phone. I saw literally it came up, Taryn Ward answered it. All right, everything's all great. So let me show you what just happened though. Because here's what we can do. There's a few things. First of all, I can see all of that in my mobile app, but I also have what we call the Profit Dial inbox. Okay. So if I come down here into the Profit Dial inbox, these are all of, you can see here, these are all of the calls, right? These are all the calls that just came in. I can see that. And now Taryn has been with us for a long time. So she's played along in these demos with me before. So she's already a contact in my database. That's really important to understand. These are all new leads, right? So everybody else here, you guys called for the first time, so you weren't in my database. So I can assign a contact or I can create a new contact, right? I can call directly from the system. So if I wanted to actually make an outbound call, I could easily do that. Just click on the number and it'll actually call. In fact, If I did that, it's just going to pop up and say, hey, do you want to call? I can hit call now. What's going to do, since I called out, it's going to call, right? And now it's going to call Taryn. So I literally click call, but it's calling from my cell phone because the systems are connected, okay? Hey, it's outbound call, so I want to just say thank you for participating. All right, cool. All right, so what I'm showing you guys, like, again, just this one piece can change your business. Just this one piece, just the phone number, okay? So the cool thing of it is, imagine now if this said yellow postcard or blue postcard, and I could absolutely track yellow postcard or blue postcard. So I can see here, Taryn called in, but let's go ahead and click on Taryn's actual contact record. So I'm going to click on Taryn. Again, since the phone system is automatically integrated with the contact system, then everything that we just did is integrated, right? So I can come in here and see, oh, wow, we have an outgoing call right here on Taryn, and the call was recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the call recording. The systems are connected, okay?
Hi there.
Hey, it's outbound call, so I wanted to say thank you for participating.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Okay. So think about what we just did, guys. Think about what we just did. I see a lot of questions coming in, but Jack's question was, hey, am I going to be able to monitor and track my VAs? The answer is yes. There's probably no better way to do that than to make sure the calls are recorded, all the inbound calls, outbound calls, and again, all the team activity you're going to see. Are they updating the contact records? What are they doing? What are they active on? Okay. And all of the history here is right here. So if I want to look, by the way, since we triggered a flow, I can see that the next step scheduled is a ringless voicemail, right? That's going to go out at 11 a.m. To Taryn. Okay. So all of that stuff is scheduled. All right. So let's go back real quick, and then I'm going to answer questions. So we're going to come back in here to our marketing inbox. I know that was just a lot, but what I want to understand is we set up the phone number. We triggered a call flow. I can route it wherever I want, right? I routed it to my office the first time. I changed it to ring my cell phone the second time, right? Those calls are recorded. All of the calls are tracked. They're sourced. All of the intelligent follow-up. For those of you guys that called, you may have already received a text message, right? You may have already received a text message and or a ringless voicemail on your cell phones, right? So all of that follow-up automatically happens for each and every one of you. Now, the next question I want to talk about is setting up a keyword, okay? Because that is, how do we set up like the keyword cache for our postcards? So first and foremost, just in the chat messages, all right, just in the chat messages, I want you guys to let me know, do you think just having the phone system and just setting up the automated follow-up and tracking like we just did, do you think that that would help you close an extra 1 or 2 deals in the next 6 to 12 months? If you think so, don't give me no fluff, and don't just tell me yes to make me feel good. I feel really good about myself as it is, okay? If you think that would absolutely help you close 1 or 2 more deals in the next 6 months, then give me some comments in the chat box, okay? All right. Sandor, thank you. Harry, thank you. Harry, I love it, dude. I love the spacing, love that. All right, okay? All right, so again, this is why I asked that question, guys, is I want to be clear that that's just one thing that we do, one simple thing that we do, and it's really easy to set up, okay? Really easy to set up. We just did it. It's going to take about, honestly, what takes longer is you to think about the process of what you want. And oh yeah, by the way, we've already done that for you. We got the cheat sheet. I'm going to show you how to get that in just a little bit as well. It's going to tell you exactly how to handle the 10-day follow-up and the 6-month follow-up. We're going to give you all the templates, the emails, text, everything. Okay. All of that stuff is going to be included and show you exactly step-by-step how to build this. All right. Okay. So we set up the phone system. All right. Thank you. Yes, it's already helped me organize more and follow up. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do is say, okay, well, how do I set up the keyword, right? We've been using postcards with you guys have probably seen these, right? Picture of the house. We do this through profitdrive.com. There was a picture of the house on the postcard, mails it out, says, hey, is this your house? I want to buy it. For a fast offer, go ahead and text cash to, in this case, it would be text cash to 314-916-10080, right? That would be the postcard. So the question is, how do I go set up that keyword cash? right? Because I can trigger an intelligent workflow as soon as they type in the word cash, okay? So so I'm gonna go back, I'm just gonna go to the dashboard, kind of reset my orientation into REI Black Book, okay? So reset my orientation, and now we're gonna come over here, gonna click on Damon again, and we're just gonna go to system settings, okay? System settings, there's all kinds of system settings in here, okay? But I'm really gonna come down here and, excuse me, I'm gonna click on my keywords, okay? So I'm gonna click on keywords, and this shows you all of the keywords that I've already got set up, all right? I've already got several keywords set up, cash, but these are for different phone numbers. So you can set up multiple different keywords. Each phone number, you can have unlimited keywords. So really, really powerful. So let's go ahead and hit add new. And I'm going to go ahead and say cash. Oh, you know what? So that's the keyword. And I'm going to say this is going to be my Profit Drive postcard keyword. And then it's going to ask me what phone number do I want to use. We're going to use that profitdrive.com 916-10080. We're going to use that number and choose the workflow. Okay. Now, right now, I don't have a workflow. I didn't create one. So let's go do that so that I can come back and actually assign the workflow. All the workflow it means is says, hey, if somebody texts the keyword cash, right, to this number, what do you want to happen? All right. So let's go ahead and create that keyword. And let's go back in. We're going to go to workflows. And we're going to add a new workflow. And I'm just going to call this my, I'll initiate Profit Drive cash keyword is what I'll name this, okay? All right, so this basically literally says, okay, this is our workflow builder. It's going to be very, very similar to the call flow builder with the exception of this is a workflow. So there's no live phone call going on, so I can't forward the call. I can't smart route the phone call, but I can smart route, you know, I can do certain things based upon, I can't do I can't do a forwarding, I can't do voicemail, and I can't do an interactive menu, right? Those are the things that I can't do because I don't have a live call. All those things would require a live call. If they call in, I can forward it. This is not a live call. This is somebody texted in. So the things that I can do here, basically is very similar to a call flow. I can text, right? So I can shoot back a text. I can add a delay. I can tag them. I can add a contact tab. I can update a contact field, right? So maybe I created a custom field and I can update that contact field just by them texting in the word keyword cash. That could be a status field that says, hey, change the status to offer needed, right? I could do all kinds of cool stuff with my update. I could trigger additional workflows. So I'm going to trigger my 10-day workflow at the end of this workflow. Okay, smart routing. So based upon filtering, I can route this lead differently. So maybe they texted in the keyword cash, but I can also see that they called. All right, maybe I want to elevate them and trigger a high priority notification. I could send back a ringless voicemail. I could assign a task to somebody else on my team. So the task manager, remember I told you we got a whole team in task manager. Even if you don't have team members, you can create yourself a task. So it's easier to keep track of when you have to do things and why. Notifications, email, I can stop workflows, source it, contact notes, opt-in status. And then I can also trigger a webhook. Okay, I can trigger a webhook. Some of you guys are saying, hey, can you integrate with this system or that system? You can do all of that via webhooks, okay? Webhooks. And I've got entire training on this, and we show you how to integrate some of the systems directly with webhooks. And we're gonna make this even easier because we're gonna be doing a Zapier integration very soon, okay? But this, let's get back to it. We're gonna go ahead and text reply and says, and basically, hey, look, so I want you to think about what do you want to happen? Somebody text in cash from your Profit Drive postcard. What do you want to happen? You know, so we can sit here and say, hey, thanks for the inquiry. We are actively buying properties and would love to help you. Is now a good time to talk? So remember, all I want to do is get them on the phone, really, right? So that's really all I'm going to do, okay? Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and delay that. And I'm going to wait 1 day. I'm going to send another text reply, and it's going to say, are you still interested in selling your house? Okay. Are you still interested in selling your house? And then I'm going to go ahead and wait a day. And then I'm going to trigger that 10-day follow-up funnel. Okay. And that really could be it. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just, they're going to text in cash. They're going to get a text reply back really quick. Thanks to the inquiry. We're actively buying properties and would love to help you. Is now a good time to talk? All right. It's going to wait a day. Now, hopefully what happens is they text me back and I can engage now in a conversation and or get them on the phone right now or when's available, convenient for me. But if that doesn't happen, it's going to wait a day. It's going to send them another text reply. So say, are you still interested in selling your house? Again, I hope that they engage. That's really the intent. We want to talk to people, right? This really is a people business. If that doesn't happen, it's going to wait a day and then it's going to trigger the 10-day follow-up funnel. And that 10-day follow-up funnel is going to hit them every day or every other day in that 10-day cycle. And at the end of that, then we're going to drop them into the 6-month workflow. The 6-month is going to every week to every 2 weeks, it's going to send them some sort of text or email or ringless voicemail to keep dripping on them on a regular, consistent basis. Okay. So Ron, great question. Do leads have to opt in, have an opt-out option? Oh, opt-out option. The answer is yes. So you don't have an option on this. We force you. So this is kind of standard, industry standard stuff. If they type in stop or anything else, then you can they will automatically be unsubscribed. So they can opt out automatically. Yes. Emails as well. They can opt out of all of this stuff. Okay. But really what we're doing here is we're going to text them back. So now this is only going to happen, by the way, if they text in the keyword cash. So let's go ahead and save and close this. Oh, you know what? There's a couple other things that I'd probably want to do. What did I call that out? I called it Profit Drive. Sorry, ignore this part. I got lots and lots of junk in here just because it's a demo account. So the other thing I would probably want to do as well is I would want to go ahead and tag them, right? I'm going to tag them Profit Drive, right? So it's a Profit Drive seller. I might want to, go ahead and set the source as well. So I could set the source, everything else also. So I would probably do that. Okay. And then, yeah, there we go. Save and close. Now I'm going to go back into my keyword. I'm going to go back into my keyword here. Let's go find cash for the right number. Which one did we have? 314-916-10080. I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. And we're going to go ahead and find that. There it is. There's my cash keyword. And we're going to update the keyword. So what we just did is already, I've set up my phone number, right? That phone number is going to be used on the postcard. And it could say, hey, call for an offer, or it could say, hey, text cash to the same phone number. And no matter if they choose to text or they choose to call, the system's going to drop them in. It's going to tag them. It's going to source them. I'm going to know, did they text in? Did they call in? I'm going to know that. The system's going to automatically drop them into that 10-day follow-up funnel. And if they don't get a hold of them in the 10 days, it's automatically going to drop them to the 6-month. Okay. I want you guys to see that. That's it. Now, the next and last thing that I told you we'd do on this call, let's see, we got about 45 minutes, and I'll be happy to answer questions. Keep the questions coming in. I promise you, I'm going to answer all the questions I possibly can. I'm going to answer all the questions that we possibly can. But the last thing I told you we'd do is we'd build out a website, right? We'd build out a website, okay? So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, right? I'm going to go to back to the dashboard, and I'm just going to click on my web tools. Now, web tools, you're going to see that we got websites. So I'm going to click on websites really quick. Again, you're going to see that I've got multiple sites in here. Ignore all that. You're not going to have anything. You're going to see this create new site, right? You're going to hit create new site, and it's going to pop up and say, hey, choose a template, right? Do you want an authority site? Do you want a buyer site? This is really built for retail buyers. Do you want a seller site? Do you want an acquire seller site? Maybe a lease option site? Maybe you're a landlord. You want to display all your rental vacancies and properties. Maybe you want to build your cash buyers list. Maybe, I'll tell you, this has been crazy, but folks have been using REI Black Book just for general business. I've got chiropractors, mortgage guys, attorneys, auto body shops, just all kinds of business owners that use the same concepts. These concepts work in any business, right? I need to capture leads, whether they called, whether they text, whether they go to my website, and I need to have consistent follow-up. It works. So if you've got another business or anything like that, you can absolutely build out really cool funnels and follow-up systems and everything else for other businesses right inside the same account. Or if you're a designer and you know what to do, hey, you got a blank canvas to build a site. All right. Now, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to use this acquire seller template. Most of you, this is exactly what the template I would tell you to, I would tell you to use is this acquire seller template. So let's go ahead and hit build site. It's going to pop up and say, hey, look, we're going to do a lot of things here. Okay. So we're building out workflows, web forms, we're building out all kinds of stuff for you so you don't have to do it. So let's go ahead and say, yes, let's do it. And it pops up and says, all right, hey, look, this is going to take a minute now. So it's going to come out down here and says this site is being built. So while that site is being built, I'm going to go and answer some questions. Okay. So I know you guys got a bunch of questions still. So the site is being built. Typically takes anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. We'll send you an email notification, but since we're on the call, we'll take this opportunity to answer questions. All right. Are there additional rates for inbound and outbound calls and text? Okay. So we do include calls, minutes and text and ringless voicemail credits at the 197 level and even more at the 297 level. So we do include typically enough for most of you. Now, if you've got lots of contacts and you're really excessive, and not even, I don't use the word excessive. If you're high volume business, then yes, you'll probably pay for overages, but you'll see that our overages are really super inexpensive. So you know, as an example, like if you did a 10-minute phone conversation with a seller, you know, I think that's going to cost you 30 cents kind of thing, right? If you text message at our highest plan, I think the discounts are all the way down to $0.015 for text, but I think I include 2,000 text messages in your plan. Okay. So you get lots of text messages, lots of minutes and stuff like that. But if you do go overage, there are some overage uses. I can tell you, you can compare us to anything else in the market. We're going to beat them. We're going to be less expensive than CallRail. We're going to be less expensive than, you know, all those other, you know, platforms out there. I tell you, we're extremely competitive when it comes to pricing. So the usage is, you know, the overage is minimal. Okay. All right. So in my current CRM, I built a hook to the evil Zillow for home values. We kind of need this because homeowners are always looking at these. It helps to know what we are dealing with when we speak with them. Can we build external hooks into REI Black Book? You can, Jack, but here's the deal. You probably are not going to need to do nearly as much of that stuff because we are real estate guys. Like that's what we do. We built a real estate CRM. So some of that stuff, for example, the Zillow thing that you're talking about, we've already done that. So you don't have to do that. I'm actually going to show you that. In fact, all of this, as soon as we build this website, I'm going to have you, Jack, I'd love for you to do it. Go in there in a property address and I'll show you how we're going to pull all that stuff in. Now, Jack, this is a question that I haven't seen. And the irony is that Anish and I were talking about faxes in the opening introduction. And so Jack says, do these numbers handle faxes? And I gotta tell you, Jack, I don't think I've been asked that yet. And the answer to that is no, we don't do faxes yet, but we do have a very, very active community. And the active community, we've got a whole product request, feature request, and we allow you guys to vote on stuff. And you can kind of see, so if that's something you want, go throw it on there. And I'm telling you right now, when people we see it's like, okay, we know everybody wants faxes. Let's go build it. Taryn's been with us for a long time. I think probably 5 or 6 years Taryn's been with us. She could probably attest in the chat box or whatever. If you guys know Taryn, reach out to her. But I promise you, the product that she has today wasn't the product that she purchased 6 years ago. We are rolling stuff out. I am a little bit of background on REI Black Book team. I've got a team of 10 developers in my office that sit with me every single day, right? We are literally yesterday, and we actually were reviewing the product board yesterday, the feature request board yesterday. We got some really cool stuff that we just picked yesterday. We're like, all right, let's get that done, in the next month or two, okay? So we are actively rolling out new stuff and new features all of the time. So if faxing is in demand, then we've got no problem to do that. Okay. So, all right. So Jax also says, hey, I have a map on my mobile CRM client. Did I see one on your mobile CRM client? Was that all in the web interface? There is not a map in the mobile client. There is a map on the web interface though. All right. If I currently have a website, can I transfer a website to that you build or transfer the domain? Michael, good question. Yes, you can easily import a domain name. We're going to do some really cool things when you do that, but it's going to make it super easy. If you've got a really established website, you can also build some web forms and put them on any third-party website as well. So now, Alexander, really good question. I appreciate that question. Can you import an existing website? So if you've got like a blog or something like that, you can't import that you can import the blog articles, but you can't import the design and stuff like that. You're going to see in just a second, we have a very specific front-end design builder that makes it really, really easy. But the problem with that, it doesn't make importing, it's not as easy to import to make sure that our design engine works with that. And Jack Pay is our electronic signature document tracking mechanism. We integrate with DocuSign. We integrate with the other document signing e-signature documents. The e-signature is on our product request board, by the way, the feature request board, I guess I should say. And that is something I know I want it personally. I want the document signing, but right now we just integrate with like HelloSign and WeSign and DocuSign. We integrate with those tools today. Okay. All right. So there we go. That's at least looks like I got all those questions for right now. Let's come in here and let's hit refresh. And there we go. The seller site is built. Okay. So we actually just built out the seller site. Now, just because we built it, you know, we got to go in and tweak it. We got to go make some adjustments. And so let's kind of go take a look at exactly what it looks like right out of the box. So this is exactly what it looks like right out of the box. You know, sell your house fast. We need to put a form here so that they can tell us, you know, their name, phone number, property address, right? We buy houses in, okay, that's blank. Sell my blank house fast. How our selling process works. Submit your property information, cash offer. Okay, all right, we got the site. Looks decent, right? We got a complete blog. All right, some blogs are already written for us. Okay, some content's already there. The About Us section. All right, we're probably gonna need here at, all right, that's blank. Owner and operator of, that's blank. So about, we don't have any contact details. So some of that stuff needs to be filled out, okay? We probably need to update the address here, you know, get my cash offer. We need the form here. Okay. All right. So there's a few things that we need to do to actually really get this site ready to go. Okay. It's going to be pretty easy to update most of this stuff within just a few minutes. Okay. So all you're going to do is you're going to come back in here. Now, granted, I've got a lot of sites here. So I've got 9 different sites. You do get 10 websites, by the way. You get 10 websites in that 197 package. Okay. Now, why would you need 10 websites? You might build a seller site. You might build a rental site. You might build a lease option site. You might build buyer sites. You might be in different markets. You know, all kinds of things. You might use a website for a specific lead strategy. So maybe it's like, hey, I want to build a foreclosure website to stop foreclosure in Florida, like all kinds of things. But we're going to give you 10 different websites, and these are complete websites. It is built upon the WordPress framework. Let me be clear upon that. It's built upon the WordPress framework. You're going to see in just a minute, though. You don't have to know WordPress to make this super, super easy. In fact, we're going to come in here. We're going to click on this little seller panel. And this is all of the details. So first of all, I need a nickname. So I'm going to do, you know, the Bria demo. All right. So that's for internal purposes only. So I'll be able to easily identify this site. That happens, you know, whenever you get 10 sites. Now I'm going to go ahead and nickname this. We're going to say Bria buys houses. Right. And then we buy houses, and we could pick a market, right? We could pick a market, St. Louis, pick the state. All right, all that information, my address information, all that's good. So we're going to go ahead and save the merge field data. Now, what this is, guys, this is kind of cool the way we've done this. I really like this. This has made my life a lot easier. You know, I've been managing websites for a lot of years. And admittedly, I got people on my team to do it now. But when we first started, trust me, I was doing a lot of this myself. And I found, man, it's nothing worse when you go update your phone number, or you change your phone number, or move offices, and you got to go find everywhere on your website that your office address is, or maybe your tagline or contact information, any of that stuff. And so what we've done is we basically create short codes. So these are kind of like mail merge fields for your website, right? So anytime you use any of these merge fields, like you're writing a blog article and you put, hey, call us at this number. You can just put, you know, bracket phone, and it'll automatically update the phone number, which is kind of cool. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and save the merge field data. And it does take just a few seconds, but let's come back in here and let's update this thing. Let's update. Let's see. About us. Let's refresh. All right. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I save. Let me go ahead and clear my website cache. Close that out. And let's go take a look at that site again. All right, so there we go. So sell your St. Louis house fast, right? Get a fast, fair cash offer on your house today. We buy houses for cash all over St. Louis, right? We buy houses in St. Louis. Sell my St. Louis house fast. All the contact information now. There it is. Bria buys houses. The address, the contact, the email. All of that stuff is automatically updated. Once we, once we update it just in a couple places, and it updates it on all the pages, right? So about Bria buys houses, here at Bria buys houses, Damon Remy, owner and operator, so all of that information is just automatically updated multiple places, inserts the phone number, right? So that it makes it a lot easier to just quickly update the site. Now, if you want to customize any page, it really is as easy as you just hit edit page. You hit edit page, and now it's kind of a WYSIWYG editor. So if I click on that, I can easily change it. It says about company. So you can see if I use that bracket, it's automatically going to insert it. If I want to type anything in that article, I can certainly update it here, change any of the information. I can do that very easily. Okay. So it does make it pretty easy. Doesn't make it really easy to kind of update your site. If you want to add any other content, you just come up here and hit add content. You're going to see that we've already got a bunch of like modules built for you to make it really easy. Maybe I want to add a group of testimonials here at the bottom of this. So I'm going to go ahead and drag my testimonials over here. Just drop that. Okay. How many testimonials do I have, right? Add testimonial, add. I can edit those, hit save. And now it just drops in the testimonials and it kind of rotates. Social buttons, photo galleries, maps, lightbox. Lead capture. So if I want to just drag and drop a web form or opt in pop out, property modules. So this is kind of cool. Since we do all that property management, the disposition, the deal management, maybe I wanted to add a list of featured properties. So I'm going to just drag that over here. And so maybe I just want to show all of my sold properties in Missouri or whatever. So I can kind of filter exactly what properties I want to show. I can choose the layout. Do I want to do a collage? Do I want to do a slideshow? Show market status. And we're going to do a collage. I like that a little bit better. Let's hit save. And there we go. All right. So what I'm doing here, guys, straight up is with this add content, we've got several different widgets and plugins, if you will, already pre-built for you. You don't have to understand it and know a bunch of tech stuff. You literally, I want to feature properties here. You drag it, you drop it, you click on it and say, okay, I'm going to show only my sold properties. I'm going to show the market status banner, which basically that says sold. I want to display the deal analysis or drop shadows. I can change all of that. And so now all of a sudden people can actually see properties directly on my website, right? And this would be the about us, just the sold stuff. And as I update and as I click sold inside of my property pipeline, I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay. As I do that, the really cool thing is that those properties automatically get updated on my website. I don't have to do anything else, right? It really does make it really, really easy. Okay. So this is our website builder. I've got tons of training on how to customize this even more, but quite frankly, most of you don't need to customize this thing. Just use it out of the box and update your company information, your logo, your phone number stuff. Just update that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and hit done. I'm going to discard those changes because they're kind of crazy. I don't want all those on there. So we're going to discard those. And now I'm going to go back into REI Black Book. Okay. Well, here's a couple things I want to show you guys. Okay. So one of the things I want, of course, is I want a web form. So I need to go build, this is no different than we built the phone number or we built the keyword. I now need to build, I've got the website, but I need a web form to capture the lead information. And I need to build a workflow that is triggered once they fill out that web form. Okay. Once they fill out that web form. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go build a web form and a workflow. Okay. So let's come back into REI Black Book. We're going to build the workflow first. All right. So we kind of always work backwards, just so you know. So we're going to add new workflow and I'm going to call this Bria website. All right. And we're going to go ahead and tag it and we're going to say Bria website. We're going to create that tag. We're going to wait. Here's a really cool part, guys. I'm going to wait like 2 minutes and I'm going to send a text reply and it says, We received your web submission. Thank you. But, we received, how about we say we insert their name? So we're going to go ahead and merge the field. Here's all of the fields, okay, whether it's custom field, already existing contact field, but this is pretty easy. We're going to go ahead and just insert their first name. So it's going to say, Anish, we received your web submission. Thank you. We will be in touch soon. If you need anything faster, please respond to this text. Okay, that's it. So I can do all kinds of merge fields, from the contact record. So, and what we're doing here is, again, they go to the website, they submit their name and info, their property address. It's going to tag them BREIA website, right? So it's going to tag them the BREIA website. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to wait, not 2 days. We want to wait 2 minutes. Almost missed that. We're going to wait 2 minutes. It's going to send them a text reply back. Anish, we received your web submission. Thank you. We'll be in touch soon. If you need anything faster, please respond to us. And we're going to see, we received your request for a cash offer. And there's all kinds of things you could do here. Thank you. We'll be in touch soon. Or you could be, hey, thank you. We've just got a couple of questions on the house. Would you rather do that via text or a phone call work, right? Engaging conversation. That's really what we're trying to do here, right? So it's tagged them. It waits 2 minutes. It's going to send them a text reply. And I want to go ahead and send myself a notification. So I'm going to send myself a notification. I can do that to a text. I can do it via email to myself, multiple people on my team. It's going to go ahead. Now I can insert. Here's their first name. Let's go ahead and do their last name. We're going to go ahead and insert their phone number. And then we're going to go ahead and insert their address, right? So there's the street address. And I'm going to say just submitted a web form on BREIA website. And again, I can send that to my text or email, right? But it's getting, so on my text, it's going to send me a text that says, hey, here's their first name. It's going to be last name. Here's the phone number. Here's the street address. And they just submitted a web form, right? So that's going to automatically send me to my notification. I could create a task. So now I want to go ahead and create that task. I could do the same thing. I could merge the data. Maybe I want to assign that to somebody on my team, right? This is high priority, right? So now I'll sudden do all the same things that I just did. I can copy and paste, by the way. So just copy. Now, why would I send a notification and then create a text? Notification is just going to be a text notification, right? It's just going to be a text notification to my phone. I don't have to do that. It could just update me in the web app or the mobile app. It could update me there. But you guys have probably seen notifications before. You dismiss them and everything else. A task is going to actually create a task in our task management. So we're going to say, all right, new web lead, right? New web lead. And that's going to be assigned to Tony Romo. And we want him to call. High priority, and we want to assign that right away. I could send them an email, all that fun stuff, but what am I going to do? I'm going to then go ahead and trigger the 10-day follow-up, right? I'm going to trigger the 10-day follow-up, okay? So let's go ahead and hit save and close. Actually, what I'm going to do, put this here, HTTP. All right, so let's go ahead and save and close that. So we just built the workflow. Now we need to build the web form that we're going to drop in. So I click on Web Tools, and let's go build the web form. This is really simple. And again, once you build this once, guys, you don't have to keep going back and doing it. We're going to go ahead and do new web form. Again, I'm going to call it BREIA Web Demo. Create the web form. And now it says, okay, what fields do you want, right? Well, I want the phone number. So I'm just going to drag and drop that. All right. We're going to go ahead and say that we are going to opt them in. I'm going to display opt-in compliance somewhere else. We're going to go ahead and say that's a 2-column. click here. We're going to make that 2 columns so that they're both in the same column, right? And next thing I want is the property address. I'm going to use the single field. All right, we're going to just drag and drop that there. Save the field, okay? And all right, now there's a ton of things I can do here, guys. Like this form builder is pretty badass, all right? It does really cool stuff. So I could actually add questions here. I could make them intelligent. What I mean by that is I could say, you know, do you need cash in the next 7 days? And then I could have them choose yes or no. Now, if they choose yes, I can trigger an additional workflow. So that might move this as high priority. If they choose no, all right, not as high priority. So I can add smart fields to these web forms and route the leads accordingly to how they answer this. I could do this for my buyers list. So it's like I could actually ask them, hey, what areas are you buying in? Have you ever bought from a wholesaler before? Do you have financing in place? Do you pay cash? I could ask all these questions whenever I'm building my buyers list, do the same thing and tag them accordingly so I could easily find the right buyers for the right properties and do property matching later on, okay? So really easy to do that. And then, you know, we're going to do some simple stuff. We're going to make the form details. I personally like this when it's on the inside to make it really easy. We're going to go ahead and change the button. We're going to change it to red. We're going to change it to red, and we're going to, oh, you know what else I wanted to say is like fast offer now. Save button. We can enable CAPTCHA. We can do all kinds of stuff there. And then it says, hey, look, what's the workflow? So we just built that workflow, right? So what did we call that? Damon should have paid attention. Oh, there it is, Bria website. Okay. All right. Now this does require a phone number. So we're going to go ahead and, you know, I could get a new phone number specifically for this website if I wanted to. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and use the 916-1080 because since it requires a phone number, because whenever they give us their phone number, we're going to text them back. And so what is the text what's the phone number going to come from? So we're going to send the text message from 916-1080. Now I would encourage you to go set up a new phone number specifically for your website so you can track all of that as well, okay? And then customize the thank you page. We're gonna go ahead and send them to a web page. And we're gonna send them, remember I told you guys you wanna label it, so here's Bria demo thank you page. And then optionally, this is really important here, optionally you can get the code. So some of you are like, hey, what if I've got another website? What if I've got another website? You can actually take this form and put it on any third-party website. We've got, you know, JavaScript or a legacy HTML stuff, both options available to you here. So you can easily do that. We build these web forms, by the way. This is the same kind of concept. We build a web form for like Pat Live. We build a web form so that when Pat Live gets a lead, they answer the call. It's like, hey, here's the 10 questions I want the call answering service to answer. They just key that data right into the system. It triggers a workflow, creates the contact, adds the property, does all of that smart stuff that we really want to do. All right, so let's hit done and let's hit publish the changes. Again, keep your questions coming in. I promise I'm seeing them and I am going to answer them in just a minute. So we basically built our Bria web form, right? So let's go back into my website now. So I'm back into the website. I'm going to hit edit page. And now I'm going to hit add content. And now when I come over to my lead capture modules, I'm going to drag this web form right over here. And we're going to select the Bria web demo. Hit save. Okay, now let's delete this little image out. All right, that really is it. We're going to go ahead and hit done. Publish the changes. Okay, I'm going to put this in a couple other places, right? So to get my cash offer, come over here, hit edit page, add content, right? We're going to go ahead and say lead capture modules, drag the web form. There it is, save. Let's delete that image. Hit done, publish the changes. You see what I'm doing, guys? I mean, literally, I'm going to throw this form on every page, right? So right here, I want it down here too, right? So no matter what page they're on, I want them to be able to request a cash offer. So we're going to go ahead and do lead capture again, web form, drag it, drop it, Bria web demo, hit save. Close that out, hit OK, hit done, publish the changes. Okay, so blog, I think I got it on the blog side as well. Nope, I don't. That's okay. So about us page, contact us page. Oh, contact us page. Let's go ahead and hit edit. We're going to delete that spot out. Add content. There's the web form. Drag that, drop it. Hit save. Let's go ahead and update this widget as well. We're going to say 16216. So it zooms in on the right area. Okay. Now, I want to be clear. If I wanted to customize this stuff, web form settings or anything else, I can just click on that. I can change it easily at a later date. I can do styling for the different columns and everything else, all kinds of different column settings. It's a complete website builder, guys, complete website builder. It is absolutely phenomenal what we've seen some folks do with this thing. Absolutely amazing, okay? And then the other thing I want to do is I don't have a logo, so it's showing me a little image there. Oops, let me show you this, sorry. If I hit the advanced theme customizer, that's going to give me all kinds of options. I want to do different templates, different layouts, different headings. I can change all of that stuff across the entire website. So I can actually edit the theme where it makes sense. So on the, for instance, on the logo here, let's go ahead and use text because I may not have an actual logo. So we're going to go ahead and put, you know, REI buys houses. Okay. Save and publish. All right. So we've pretty much built a website. Okay. So I'm going to come over here, go to my web tools. Let's go back to our websites. And there we go. So we've got the Brio demo site. If I click back on that tab, you know, we're going to host it. So U7.0.REI Black Book. You don't want that, of course, on your business card. So you can come here and hit settings. You can either choose from an existing domain that you've imported into the system. So maybe you've got a website or a domain name. You can easily import that. Or you could buy domains right in the system. So I've got stlhomebuyers.com. So let's go ahead and I'm going to select stlhomebuyers.com. We're going to hit update the domain. And we just built HTTP stlhomebuyers.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on that. Oh, it does take a little bit. To propagate. Make sure. And here I'm gonna hit clear the domain. That's one that'll go a little faster. Ultimate profit generator. Let's see. Some of these domains are broke because I haven't. Let's try this one. Again, it's a demo account, so I got a bunch of junk in here, so I apologize about that, but let's see if that works. All right, there we go. So if you guys go to quickprofitgenerator.com, this site is ready to go, okay? So I'm gonna throw this in the chat box really quick, this link. And what I'm gonna ask a few of you to do is just go ahead and go to the website and throw in your name, email address, phone number, and a property address, okay? And we'll kind of show you what happens. While you guys are doing that, let's go review questions. A couple things I can tell you right now. These are what we call mobile responsive, so they're gonna look good on a mobile phone. Things of that nature. They're gonna automatically adjust and fit accordingly. You can add new pages. All right, so I see some questions here on SEO. So I can build any new page. I can write blogs. I can edit the menus, the theme. I can add tracking codes from Google, from Facebook, all the tracking pixels. I can drop those right in here. If I want to write a page or a blog, let's say I've got my home page and I want to really rank that for search engine optimization. We've got an SEO tool built right in. It's going to rank it. It's going to say, hey, what keywords, you know, do you really want to rank for? And we're going to say, you know, we want to rank for we buy Florida houses, right? And it's going to come in and say, guys, guess what? It's not in the article heading, page title, URL, content. No, it's going to tell you exactly what to do, how to fix that. So we're going to go ahead and say, you know, we buy Florida houses. And, you know, we buy Florida houses with fast offers and painless processes, whatever. Again, I'm not a copywriter by any means, folks. All right, so as I start updating this stuff, it's going to come in and check. It's like, okay, yep, that's good, that's good, that's good. We also come over here and hit a little page analysis. Oh, let's go ahead and hit update. We hit our page analysis. We hit our page analysis, and it comes in and tells us even more things that we can do to organically rank this page for the right keywords. Okay, we're going to tell you exactly what you need to do to update it. So we got SEO tools built in. It's completely mobile responsive, and most importantly, guys, these web forms are connected directly to your contact management database. Okay, all right. So what hopefully you guys can see right now is if we go back to our acquisition workflow map, what we did this morning, we set up a phone number. We set up a phone number to be able to track all of our incoming leads, right? And if we don't get a hold of them right away, we're going to drop them into the same 10-day follow-up funnel. We then built a website, the same thing, right? Immediate tracking, immediate response. If we don't get a hold of them, drop them into the 10-day follow-up funnel. Same thing with keywords and texting. If we don't get a hold of them, drop them into the 10-day follow-up workflow. So what I want you to understand is we're funneling everything, every incoming lead, but the most important thing is we're tagging it, segmenting it, tracking it so that we have intelligence, but if we don't get a hold of them right away, we're going to drop them into that same 10-day follow-up. If we don't get a hold of them then, we're going to drop them into the same 6-month, which just keeps repeating. Okay. So we just did all of that this morning. Now I'm going to give you guys the step-by-step guide. I'm going to give you guys, hey, inside of here, I'm going to give you the email templates, the text messages. This is what you should say. This is what they should say. All of that stuff is included right inside of REI Black Book. Okay. Right inside of REI Black Book. You can come up here and click on resources and go to the accelerators. Now you're going to see I got a lot of accelerators in here. Okay. Accelerators are basically 2-day workshops. We do 2-day workshops. I'm going to turn a couple of these on. Now this is included. All of these workshops are included in our $297 a month plan. Okay. So you could upgrade pretty easy, manage your account, but I'm going to turn on a couple of these for you. And one of them is mastering REI Black Book workflows. I want to make sure that that's turned on for you, because whenever you come in here, it's going to give you all of, how to build the short term, the long term, and it's going to give you a whole download section where you've got that seller workflow map. And we're going to give you all of the templates on what to say, what text message to send, what should the email say. All of that stuff is in there for you already, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that stuff's included, all right? So what I wanna do, all right, cool. I can see a couple of you submitted web forms already. Thank you very much. Thanks for playing along. So, so you can see that we built the website, right? I posted the link, all right? I posted the link, and we got a couple of web form submissions. Now, so let's come here and take a look. All right, there's Karen, Henry. Thank you guys very much. All right, so let's go ahead. I want to show you guys a couple things. So first of all, let's click on Karen. The contact record is already created. I can see all of the details. A property was created. So over here, I can see the properties. I can see the property here as well. I can see all of that information. I can see any flow history, right? Any recent activity. Have we sent her any text messages? If I wanted to send her a text, right? I'm just going to send her a quick text right from here. It says, thank you. Send that along. Oh, which number do I want to send it from? We're going to go ahead and send that from the Profit Drive. Let's go ahead and hit send. Right? So just shot her a text message. Okay. All that stuff is going to be tracked and added right here. Okay. So text delivered. Thank you. All right. Awesome. Cool. Contact records created, but like I said, so is the property. So let's go ahead and click here on the property address. Now I can take a lead sheet. I can customize this and ask as many or as little questions as I want. I can see all of the contacts on this. I can, of course, see that Karen is the seller. What if Taryn was the buyer? Let's go ahead and add her to this deal, and she's the buyer, right? So all of the contacts associated on the deal, I can tag them and add them to the deal. I can quickly run through my repair list, right? All of my comps. It's going to give me all the details. Now, Karen did not type in any other additional information other than her address, but I can quickly see, okay, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, square foot, 1390, built in 1973. Last sold on March 9th, 2005. Here was the sold price. Here's the Zestimate. So Jack, I think you were asking me about that. Here's the Zestimate. All right, so I'm going to average the tax assessment and the Zestimate. Here's the average on that. But if I come down here to the map, I can start seeing, hey, what's sold? Okay, I can see, all right, February 28th, this property next to it sold for $235. I got another one here sold for $119. All right, another one sold for, $165. So, and you can notice all of the data is down here as well. So I can see all of the properties. I can sort them by proximity, right? So I can sort all of those and say, and if I wanted more details on them, I could come in here and say, click on view, and it's going to link directly to that property to Zillow. So I can see more pictures. What does it look like? What did it sell for? If I want to see rents, I can easily see the rental comps in the area. So landlords probably want to know, hey, what kind of rental properties in the area? What's the average rents going for? These are actually rental ads too, not like, so the reason that's important is because I want to know what current rental ads are on the market. If I want to go see where that came from, I click on view. Looks like we got this one on oodle.com. So we're going to show you the picture of the property. Any other additional photos, you can see that there's 7 photos here. Any additional information on that rental property, okay? Now, if I want to go ahead and come over here to my sold comps, let's go ahead and we're going to sort by sell price. All right, we're going to sort by sell price. Let's go ahead and select a couple of these. First of all, they're going to turn orange. And then next thing you know, my ARV, my maximum allowable offer, and my average, averages are going to automatically calculate for me. So it looks like my maximum allowable offer for this property should be about 125. What is that based on? If I click on my calculator, it's going to give me all of the math. That's an $11,500 assignment fee. It's backing out realtor fees, holding costs, closing costs, based upon I want to make a 20% net investor profit. So here would be the maximum allowable offer. So it's building in my investor profit. So if I'm a wholesaler and somebody's needs to come in and do a rehab, now I don't have any repair estimates because I didn't put anything in yet. But it's going to tell me exactly what my maximum allowable offer is. Okay. All the way from there, I want to go ahead and analyze the deal. Maybe I want to understand, hey, what happens if I fix and flip this, lease option it, rent it? So let's turn this thing into a rental. Let's just go ahead and say that we're going to do an 80% loan, 6%, 6% interest, 360 months, closing costs, $2,500, whatever. As I'm plugging all of this stuff in, it's just going to update automatically, right? But my acquisitions, all right, what are my expenses? Well, we didn't put a purchase price in here. Let's go ahead and say 155. What are my income? So what's my rents for this thing? Let's just say, I can rent this thing out for $1,100. Vacancy percentage, 5% vacancy, annual growth, 2%. Right? Plug all that stuff in. How long am I going to hold this? Let's go ahead and hold this thing for 30 years. I'm going to use an annual appreciation of 2%. I'm going to use a realtor to sell this thing, 3%, 3%. Okay. And I'm going really fast, guys, but as I change anything, all the numbers are updating all the way to the point where if I want my cash flow report, here's the 30-year cash flow report, right? Very, very quickly, okay? This is all based upon the information that Karen submitted, right? I could go ahead and put together an offer here. I can add tasks. So maybe I buy the property, maybe I need to rehab it. I can build templates. So if I want to go ahead and build a punch list, here's my task templates on this particular property. I can upload. So let's go ahead and upload some files. I can close on it, upload the HUD, any other pictures. We're going to go ahead and throw, and I know I'm going really fast. I totally understand that, but we only got a little bit of time left together, guys. So let's go ahead and upload some photos. All right. I can add any notes on the property all the way, guys, all the way. Remember, I told you guys, and this is what I really want to show you is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start marketing the property. Okay. So I want to publish it to the website. Let's go ahead and hit publish. I want to build a single website, right? Remember a landing page. I want to publish it out to Trulia, OLX, Hot Pads, all that stuff. I could publish it here. I'm not going to do that. Remember earlier, whenever I told you guys how I started REI Black Book was matching my existing buyers, right, in my database to whenever you guys would send a property. If you want me to do that, all you do is community status. You click on, right? And we're going to tell you, we're going to send this property. We're going to email it to all those that have said, hey, look, I'm looking for properties in this area. If your property matches their buying criteria, we're going to email it to all of our buyers. And we got thousands of buyers all across the country. I can come in and edit, any additional information. I'm going to go ahead and list this thing for, $299. I'm just making stuff up at this point, right? Let's put in our full property description. All right, save that. Here's our Bria demo hot deal of the week. All right, go ahead and save that. All the photos that I just uploaded, I can come in here and drag and drop these for the photo slideshow. We turn everything on. If I want to print a quick flyer, I can do so. Do I want to send an email out? Let's create a quick email, right? We're going to use this black template. We're going to go ahead and add all of the photos in here. I'm going quick. I promise you I got more training on this. All right, so don't feel too overwhelmed. All right, save HTML add. Let's see what that looks like. Oops. Wrong button. Damon, wrong button. Let's go ahead and hit publish. There's the email created. So I'm just going to come in here, select all that HTML code, copy that. All right, let's go ahead and email that out. I want to email blast it to my buyers list. Creates the email template for me automatically. I can pick and choose all my contacts, my buyers. I can send this out, okay? Super, super fast, all right? But what I really want to show you, because I love this feature here, is the single property websites, all right? So we're going to go ahead and view and customize this. I love this little template here, but I want to change the background to black. You know, this is not, well, it's a Florida property, so maybe that the palm trees are appropriate, but maybe it's in the middle of Kansas or Colorado. We need to change it, and it's in the mountains, right? So we can kind of update the theme, if you will. Let's save and close. And now we just built, like I want you guys to think about how fast I just did that. And granted, I went through really fast. But this was the property that Karen submitted, right? So she submitted 3091 North Course Drive. I did all of my own due diligence. Okay, I did all of my own due diligence. I uploaded some photos. So here's the photo slideshow of the property, right? Okay, it's gonna map it. It's gonna show the comps that I want. I hand selected the comps that I want to appear. The financial analysis, there is the 30-year cash flow report, right? So you wholesalers, you think about being able to, you know, flip your properties and really do the analysis, and you're sending a picture. Imagine just sending a quick link to this website, right? And how would I do that? Let's go back into REI Black Book. Let's click on my contacts. So here's all of my contacts in the database. So I could build saved searches, and I could say, hey, show me all of my buyers that buy in this area. I could run that filter really quick, right? Run that filter really quick, select all the contacts, and then I could just send a quick text message. And I could say insert, and it's gonna go ahead and insert their first name, and it's gonna say, Anish, here is the deal of the week. And then I just send them, I just simply send them a link to the website that we just built, hit continue, and send that out, okay? That really is how quickly all of this stuff works, right? I can see my property pipeline. I can see how many deals I'm evaluating, how many under contract closed. Oh yeah, by the way, all the task management stuff, right? If I want to come in and look at my task, okay? So I can see my task, which is great, right? But if I want to see all tasks, I can come over here, and let's say that I want to see everything that was assigned to Tony Romo, right? And I can quickly see all of those tasks that were assigned to Tony Romo, right? You know, so I can manage it, click on the task, see did he get it done? There's the phone number. Let's just click and call if we need to. Guys, this is an end-to-end business management system. So hopefully what you guys just saw is we literally built out the phone number so that you could either receive calls or text messages. We built out the website so you could actually capture the leads. Once the leads come in, we're going to trigger the follow-up, right? So we're going to, no lead left behind, make sure that you're following up consistently and repeatedly. It's the only way that you're going to get paid consistently and repeatedly, right? And sometimes you're going to follow up for 12, 18 months, 2 years, right? The system's going to automatically do all of that stuff for you. Once the deal comes in, right? So Karen submitted her deal. I've got the property. I can actually manage the property, look at comps. I can run analysis. I can do all kinds of stuff there, all the way to task management on the property. I've got all of the ability to do all of that, all the way to, all right, I got the deal done. Now I need to find whether it's a tenant buyer, a tenant, right? So I'm a landlord. I'm just trying to find tenants. Maybe I'm trying to find retail buyers. Maybe I'm trying to find, you know, cash buyers, literally end to end. All right. End to end. I can tell you without a doubt, I've been doing this for a long time. If you're going to find another system and start piecemealing this together, you would probably be spending anywhere from $700 to $1,000 a month on all of the different software that we replace in one system. Not to mention, you don't have to worry about any of, right, how they all talk together, because we built it on the same platform, okay? We built it on the same platform. Okay. So I'm going to answer questions. And I know most of you guys, I know I talked about some bonuses, right? So Kevin offered some bonuses. Let me kind of make sure you guys understand exactly what the deal is right now. So you guys can get started for $197. Okay. We normally charge $1,000 up front for the license and the setup, and we do all of that stuff. But for you guys, it is going to be included. All right. It is included. And in fact, if you go to reiblackbook.com/Ryan, let's recap that deal to make sure you guys know exactly what's included. Okay. All right. So get started today, right? Again, your websites, your contact management, your call tracking, automated follow-up, your task management, property analysis, property marketing, all of that is included. Okay. You can come in here and click on these little tabs. There's little videos, again, explaining every piece that we do, right? But we are going to include, right? So you're going to get the small business plan. So that's the small business plan. It's $197 today, $197 a month, right? We're going to go ahead and include the automated follow-up machine. That's the bonus workshop. And then unlocking the power of REI Black Book. That's the both of those we typically sell for $1,000. Those are going to be available to you inside your account, your REI Black Book account. So whenever you go get signed up for $197 a month, instant access. We're going to turn all those trainings on. And most importantly, guys, here's the thing: you get to be part of the community. Our Facebook group is really pretty damn cool. We got thousands of users. It's, so awesome watching what our users have really built, the success stories and case studies that we see happening every day. It's Legos, and it's really only limited by your imagination. But here's the cool thing. Some of you guys are like, well, I don't even have the imagination. No problem. Lean into the community, lean into us, and we will help you imagine and we'll help you build this stuff out, okay? All right, so with that said, I want to make sure all the questions are answered. So we're just over a little bit, so 12:02. So let me go ahead and make sure that this link is included in the chat box. Oh, yep, you guys already did it. So Anish is on it. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. All right, so let's take a peek here. All right, yes, you can keep your domain name. I want to be very clear. If you have an existing domain name, you can easily point that domain name to any REI Black Book website. You can import it in and use all of our easy tools. It's really, really easy. We got a simple training video how to do that, okay? So super, super simple to do that. Let's see, what other questions do we have? All right. All right, I still have more questions, but don't let that give you the wrong idea. How can we different KPI metrics in the CRM? If so, which ones, everything else. So Jack, dude, I can tell without a doubt, you are very experienced, man. So you got some really great questions. So here's what I'm going to tell you, man. Sincerely, if you really are completely unsure, all right, just go to reiblackbook.com and you can request a demo, a one-on-one demo with somebody on my team, okay? And they'd be happy to talk to you directly. We definitely want to make sure it's the right fit for you. I can tell you I've been doing this for 11 years now, 11 years in this space. And, there's nobody else out there who's going to touch what we do. So I'm completely confident to let you come in and talk to our dev team. All right, Taryn, with the banners on the featured property, is there a way to sort them so new come first and under contract second and sold third? Right now on our site, it's all mixed up. Okay, that's be a great feature request, Taryn. So I would ask you just send that in to the feature request and or the support team. You may be able to do it right now, but honestly, we do so much. I don't know every detail all the time, and I don't know that you can do that. Are we locked into the 197 price, or does it increase at some point? Okay. So you guys are locked in. Look, I mean, I don't play games with our pricing and everything else. Look, we've got 3 different plans: 97, 197, and 297. The 97 plan doesn't really include texting. It doesn't include the workflows. It's more for, hey, I want a website and contact management. That's really kind of the $97 plan. Really you need the texting, you need the websites, you need that stuff. So 197, you're locked in. We don't do any like bait and switch. Our pricing has been locked in I've had that $97 plan. In fact, we added a ton of stuff to our different plans, and we haven't increased the pricing in many, many years. So, but yeah, you're locked in. All right, Nish, man, I know that got a lot in a really rapid fire there at the end. So I know it was a lot of stuff to cover, but we do a lot of stuff. You know that. So hopefully we answer everybody's questions.
And I just want to let everyone know, and you guys, some of you guys have been following us for a while. I am probably the least tech savvy person out of all of them, just because I'm Indian. Again, it doesn't mean I'm tech savvy. I'm on the other side. So for, it is sometimes daunting. And the cool thing about REI Black Book is you take piece by piece. I mean, you're talking to the founder and, he showed you about 8 trillion things. So if the first time I looked at it, I might be a little overwhelmed. And personally, we've been using it since COVID in March. And what I've noticed is like we started doing one thing at a time. And even, with the flow charts of, we added a couple pieces and then we're like, hey, what about this? So if you're not visual like me and I can't, draw that long flow chart of what Damon did, yes, no on that stuff. The cool thing is it's always a work in progress. You do 3 or 4 and we're constantly adding things on there. What you don't want is to be left behind is what I tell people, because this is what people are using in our industry around the country. So imagine, Damon was talking about, 6 months out or a year out with a follow-up system. Again, it's all about follow-up. And now you can use technology versus, as people. So whether you're just starting out, you want to start adding VAs. The key is like once you actually learn how to use the system, it's easy to add on certain things to the system or people. So let's say your acquisition person that you have is no longer with your company. You already have a built-in system. Maybe you change VA companies. You're not starting from scratch. So you're building all that out already, and you could actually kind of interchange people. So I think that's pretty important in our business. And I know Kevin we were even joking about it was obviously real estate people use this and it was built for real estate people. And I've heard there's other kind of companies that are non-real estate that are actually using the same kind of automated system that you guys are working with too. So I just think it's just really, if you're not using something like this, it's just a challenge. And what Damon also said, and I'm a big believer because we were using 5 different vendors for different things. And, I do the bills here at Bria. I was like, wow, $200 here, $300 here, 400 here, before you know it, you're spending all that money. Besides the money that you're spending, the integration thing is worth it. I could just tell you from my experience, I have a Samsung phone and I have a Mac, I have a Samsung TV. Like to try to get everything to work, it drives me nuts. So to be fully integrated makes it worthwhile too. So yeah, go for it.
Along that integration piece, Anish, it's not just the integration cost, like upfront, which is costly, but it's also the ongoing support, right? Because here's what happens. All of a sudden you got a call rail and you got Podio, right? And all of a sudden they're not working for whatever reason. Calls come in and they're not really creating a Podio lead. And all of a sudden what's going to happen, you're going to call rail and they're like, oh, well, that's Podio's fault. And you call Podio and Podio's going to be like, oh, that's call rail fault. Yep. Now all of a sudden you got this whole support nightmare. In our world, we get that and we just say, hey, look, here's the deal. It's with one number, it's one support. And I'll tell you this, you don't have to be tech savvy, right? And here's why. I've got an amazing team. One of probably the things I'm most absolutely proud of is that, and it took me a long time to figure this out, man. First few years, like nobody wanted to work for me and it was a ton of turnover. It was chaos. And honestly, I hated it. I was like, man, this is crazy. I don't know that I want to do this anymore. But I found the entrepreneur operating system, really kind of started focusing on mission, values, purpose, hiring the core values, all of those types of things. And wow, what a difference the last 5 or 6 years have made. In fact, we've won one of the best places to work in Missouri, like the last 2 or 3 years. The reason I bring that up is because, we're very clear on our purpose and our passion. We love to empower real estate investors. We love to empower people. And I make sure that is exactly what my team does. So whenever you call into my team, sincerely, they're going to take care of you because they want to see you succeed. That's the type of people I have on my team is they get their wins when you win, right? So lean into the team, right?
Yeah, and I've definitely leaned in. And also Damon was talking about the Facebook group. I've been on that Facebook group. It's fantastic. That the community of the different ideas of what people are doing in other different marketplaces. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's something that you definitely want to be part of. We would not have Damon here if we didn't believe in it. We wouldn't change our whole system if we didn't believe in it. So, you know, as I said, it's easy to use once you get used to it. So I know, you know, him obviously being the founder, and he just went through
Yeah,
like
ton of stuff.
like an hour, was able to do all these things. Eventually, you will get there, right? So you just got to hang in there. And as I said, you don't have to do everything at once. And their support team's fantastic. When I was building, I actually built our websites with Taryn, some of the boxes, and you know, she was helping with the call flows and all the different things. But constantly, I was always talking to the support team, and they get back to you right away. So they're fantastic about it.
Here's the really cool thing, okay? Like what I did today, guys, was a lot of the setup. So first and foremost, you can hire us to do that. We'll do all of the setup for you. We do have implementation packages, you know. So you know, you always have options in any business, right? And it's either going to be your time, right? So how much your time and your knowledge, time, or you pay somebody else to do it, right? You can pay us to do it. We got implementation packages starting at like $1,400, $1,500 or something like that. Okay. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to pay us $1,500. You can do this. And in fact, I'm going to send you, I know some of you guys, Henry, like, hey, the getting started guide, I'm going to make sure you guys get all the PDFs. It's like, here is the PDF that tells you everything that I just did step by step. And how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. If all you did was set up the phone number, that's it. That'll make a difference. Just setting up the phone number tracking. And what Anish was just saying is like, it gets easier over time. And here's why, because once you set up the phone number, you don't have to go in every day and do what I did, right? And build all the flow. Like, no, that's set up. And now what you do is you just sit back like today, and I wait for the calls to come in. And I know that all of the stuff is happening, whether I do anything or not. So the way it works, it's going to be a little bit, you know, it's kind of like pushing the rock, right? You're pushing it uphill. And once you get to the top of the hill, the rock takes over, and really, that really is the process. So I'm not gonna BS you guys and say, hey man, you come in here and you hit the print money button and you're gonna get rich. Okay? No, it's gonna take a little bit of work, and it's either you pay somebody to do that work or you do the work. It's gonna take some work, right? So a little bit of time and money, right? And then, but once you get it set up, man, it's gonna make a world of difference. And we've seen so many people just absolutely automating their business and buying back their time. That's really what you want to. Most important resource you got is your time. And that's what the system is going to do for you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and just to share, like we put out a property out, I think Thursday, and I probably have 9 calls on it, and it's all through the profit dial. It's awesome. Like they try to text me on my personal cell phone, no go, use the profit dial number. And now I have a track of everything, and any one of our teammates easily could follow along. If I said, hey, can you check on this portion? So it is pretty amazing too. So, yeah. I can't even begin to thank you for, first of all, spending your Saturday with us teaching. Yeah, we always appreciate it. I know they also, and if you guys have any questions, I know Kevin actually put his email too, or if you even email me, I guess I could forward it to Damon. See, we're not that automated here, fully here. So I will actually have to manually send an email, I guess, to these guys. So we just want to make sure that you guys enjoy it.
Yeah. So the one thing, and I've got a little bit more time, guys. So if you're still on here and you want to kind of see the mobile app, kind of what we were talking about today, I'll show you that here. So if you got more questions, look straight up, go to just reiblackbook.com. I'm going to put a couple of other resources in here. I'm going to be very clear though. Look, if you go to reiblackbook.com and you request the demo, my guys are basically they're going to pitch you at the end of it and say, hey, look, it's $1,000 up front, and then $100, $200 a month. So make sure that on the beginning of the demo, or put in the notes like, hey, look, we're part of the Anish and Ryan's group with Bria, and then my guys will know that, hey, you don't have to pay the $1,000, and otherwise, they won't know that. So make sure you clearly tell them that. I'm going to throw in the chat box wherever that went. I'm going to throw in a resource. And can you guys see my phone on the screen here?
Yep,
I think I figured out how to
absolutely.
get that to work.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So a couple of things that what I love about this thing is I can come in here and I can filter out. So I can see all of those profit dial numbers. And so there's that number that we had today, profitdrive.com. So if I want to only see, so for instance, what Anish was saying is like, hey, I just received 9 calls. If you just wanted to see how many incoming tenant calls I had or buyer calls, you could filter it out really quick. So we'll come in and click on that, and it just filters it out really quick so I can see exactly what calls I got and when, right? So if I want to see the text messages, so there was Karen, there was Henry, I can see all of the text messages. Some of you guys, so some folks opted out, totally fine. You should, right? If you don't want to keep getting text messages from me. But like there's Karen. I can see that I texted her, thank you. You guys saw me do that from the web app. And then I'm just going to say, thanks again. Sorry for the bother for the extra text message. But I'll send you a sweatshirt if you want one for playing along. All right. Just respond with mailing address. So Karen, I'll send you a sweatshirt for playing along. I appreciate it. But there you go. I can kind of see that directly from. Now, if I made that call earlier with Taryn, I can come in here and see. All right, there's the call that I made, all the call recordings. So if I click on it, there's the details of the call. And if I want to listen to it, systems are connected. Okay.
Hi there.
Okay. So now I want you guys to think about just that component. If you're a landlord, use a profit dial number for all of your incoming communication, text messages, phone calls for your tenants, right? Make sure they're all recorded. So they could have called in. That could have been a tenant and said, hey, I got a maintenance request. Now I come in here and I trigger my workflow, and I've got a maintenance request workflow, or all the different workflows in the system. How do I want to automatically trigger that all from my phone? So the real quick point that I want to make here on showing you guys the mobile app is once you do the work of getting this stuff set up, then it can be as easy as managing most of it just directly from your phone system, right? Making out any outbound calls, choose which phone number you want for the caller ID, all that stuff right from the mobile phone, okay? And I'll get you guys the PDF document, the Getting Started Guide, literally everything that I went through today. It's a step-by-step guide. It's going to show you guys how to do that. You'll get that in your email as soon as you guys sign up. And then the last resource I'll leave you with, we do have a pretty awesome guide. It's basically called the Real Estate Investor's Guide to Generating Motivated Seller Leads. I'm going to throw that in the chat box as well for you, okay? Whether you use REI Black Book or not, this is going to be a pretty valuable resource for you. But I'm going to argue that it would probably make it easier to implement if you're using REI Black Book, okay? All right, landlording, Airbnb. So Justin asked, hey, great question, Justin. Can you use it for different aspects of your business? Landlording, Airbnb, everything else you covered. The answer to that is yes, Justin. I want you to think, if you want a phone number set up for your Airbnb, you can have a phone number taking in, any customer or guest calls or anything like that. They could be texting in for communication. You can do all of that stuff. You could set that up so it routes it to different answering services. Landlording, just like I talked about, you can have all of your tenants uploaded in here. Let's say that they don't pay you. Well, you trigger a workflow. That is the late payment, and it automatically sends them an email notification, text notification, prints the letter, the eviction notification. It starts that whole process for you. And so it's followed consistently every single time. I have friends that run like auto body shops, and they're also real estate investors. And I've got a friend right now, man, he's got a website built for his auto body business and all the workflows. I got another friend, she does a towing business, a trucking business in Montana. She uses this for the trucking business and her mobile home business and her landlording business and her wholesaling business, okay? So the answer to that is absolutely yes, okay? All right, Anish, man, hopefully you guys got a ton of value no matter what. Even if you don't go with REI Black Book, I want you to understand the processes and the strategies we talked about are really important for the follow-up, okay? REI Black Book will make it easier, but if it's not a fit for you, we get it, but make sure you implement some follow-up in your business, okay? One of the most important things.
And I'll also add, since we're using it, so most of you guys already have my email. Feel free to call me or email me. Ask me. I mean, I'll tell you up front. Everyone knows where I'm very upfront. So of course, we think it's a fantastic software, and it's already changed our business dramatically. So we're looking forward to it.
I appreciate it sincerely, man. Thank you, guys. And we look forward to seeing you guys inside the community. We'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Have a great weekend, guys. Thank you, guys.